Welcome to the Chevy MLB pregame show on Fox. Chevy, an American revolution.
The 1-1 to Jeter. Swinging a bouncing ball to the shortstop. Renteria has it. Set. Throws to first. The Red Sox are tied for the American League's Eastern Division lead. And the Red Sox and the Yankees go down to the final 2 games of the regular season. All even.
Oh, yeah. All tied up with one place to go. Fox Saturday Baseball, the ultimate season finale, or as some see it, God's plan. The Red Sox, the Yankees playing a little knockout baseball. And Joe Buck gets to witness the madness.
All right, Jeannie, I've got the best seat in the house for the biggest game in the land. The two teams tied after 160 games this season. Great pitching matchup. Randy Johnson, Tim Wakefield. You should know this. A $45 ticket on the street would cost you $1,500, but for those at home watching on Fox, we'll bring it to you for nothing. The winner of this game gets into the playoffs if the Cleveland Indians lose. And for more on the Cleveland situation, let's go to Josh Lewin.
Thanks, Joe. You've got those two freight trains barreling towards each other in Boston. Here in Cleveland, the fans are rooting for the little engine that could. The Indians, 1 game back with 2 to play, ready for the White Sox today. A sellout crowd ready as well on a beautiful October afternoon. Jeannie, we send it back to you.
After a heartbreaker last night in Cleveland, the stage is set, so hold on tight for the weekend that will decide the entire 2005 season. Jeannie's Alaska along with Kevin Kennedy. Welcome to the postseason. All right, feels like it. Kind of is.
I can stand it.
FoxSports.com senior writer Ken Rosenthal will be joining us in just a bit. But first, it has been more than 50 years since the Red Sox and Yankees went into a season-ending series with a division title on the line, and that's what we have.
You know, and prior to last night's game, the last 34 and 34, the last 68 appearances, and the Yankees lose last night to the Boston Red Sox. They tie it up in a must-win situation. I think last night was really key for David Wells to come up big, and he did after a tough first inning, Jeannie.
All right, speaking of key to continue playing into next week, this is all contingent on a Cleveland loss. Whoever wins today will clinch a piece of the postseason. If it's Boston, they clinch the playoffs, and if it's the Yankees, they will clinch a piece of the division because of the head-to-head matchup in the regular season. Making sense?
It's difficult.
Just
it's
finish
difficult.
the season.
It's confusing.
Then it'll be really, really clean.
Just win the division. That's the bottom line.
Absolutely. And what's the National League picture look like? Well, we got 2 teams hanging on, Houston and Philadelphia. And you know what the Phillies want, a Houston loss.
And guess who's on the mound today for Houston? It's the Rocket with that left hamstring problem that he's got. He's going to go out there and make his appearance. I thought it was a huge game last night that Andy Pettitte tried to get the job done, and he did. But for the Houston Astros, it comes right back to the big guy, the Rocket, on the mound, not 100%.
Now, you're talking about last night. Let's show you some pictures
All
of
right.
the close of business on Tuesday. The Red Sox and Yankees were also tied. Johnny Damon was asked about the upcoming season-ending series with the Yankees. He had to admit, we'd be kidding ourselves if this wasn't going to be the culmination of the season. It is the master plan. You know, God's way. Terry Francona added, no, I think it's Fox's way.
Yeah, exactly right. The ratings will be good today. There's no question about it. David Wells having problems in the first inning with command.
25 pitches in that first inning.
Yes, and Hideki Matsui, one of the best hitters against left-handed pitching in Major League Baseball, gets it done early with a base hit. But the captain, Jason Varitek, will get the Red Sox back ahead of this ball game. Opposite field home run. And once again on the right side, look at this play right here. This is why Giambi is not known as a very good first baseman. You see it, bad throw right there. Open up the game for the Boston Red Sox. David Wells would continue to pitch well, though, into the 7th inning. Jeter, 2-run home run, get him close, 5-3. And how about the savior, Mike Timlin?
Mike Timlin, the savior. You want to say that again?
A 4-out save, that's right. Mike Timlin. You know, they've got guys like Papelbon, they used Chad Bradford last night. They really mixed and matched to get the ball to Mike Timlin for his 4-out save. And, you know, without Keith Polk, what else are they going to do? That's the right guy.
All right, let's show you a great one in Cleveland.
How about easy? That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
See that?
I don't know how smart it is.
That's how you work on it in spring training. This little comebacker, barehanded. Kevin Millwood, best ERA in the American League.
And the White Sox get on the board. And now we're going bottom 9. The Sox thinking we're going to take this one. Not so fast. Not so fast. Tie ball game, kids.
Aaron Boone right here. Nice double play.
And And the key here, of course, the winning run not scoring before
Exactly.
the tag. So this one would wage on and on and on and on. We're talking 13 innings.
Well, you know, the the White Sox have had 9 guys in double figures in home runs. People say they don't have offense. They just got speed, defense, and pitching. Not so. They've got plenty of offense, and they showed it last night late when they needed it.
And Bobby Jenks finishing this one up. Took 13 innings, but really put a damper on the Tribe's hopes.
An interesting situation, too, with Bobby Jenks. Got those 98, 99 miles an hour, former Angel. You know, Dustin Hermanson was a guy who's had some back problems recently. And, you know, I talked to Kenny Williams last week. He said, look, we like the arm of Bobby Jenks. We're not afraid to put him in this situation in a big game. Even though it's not a must for the White Sox, they still want to have the best record in the American League, and they want to finish off the Cleveland Indians and keep the momentum.
Need to work on that momentum, exactly.
Yeah.
Season ticket holders received the letters around September 19th. The New York Yankees are entering the postseason for the 11th consecutive year. Interested in tickets? Never mind the fact the Pinstripes were 1.5 back at that point. A mere technicality. It's all about confidence. Confidence they have today at Fenway. Here's Chris Myers.
Well, Jeannie, a major adrenaline rush outside Fenway. The world is watching the Red Sox and Yankees once again. All the tradition, the antics, the drama. It's come down to this. 2 days in October. It's a warm, bright, blue, crisp kind of autumn day here at Fenway Park. The wind is blowing out, so that could be tough for knuckleballer Tim Wakefield, pitching on 3 days rest. For the Yankees, all the way back in January, they were hoping that the big unit would be the missing link. That's why they signed him, and it was big news. They want him to beat the Red Sox, and in 5 starts this year, Randy is 4-0. He'll be going today at Fenway. After batting practice moments ago, I asked Johnny Damon about facing Randy Johnson.
Well, you really don't sleep well at night, the night before. We know how good he is. I mean, you see the videos, you faced him. He's a future Hall of Famer. So you go up knowing you're going to make an out in the game, and you just want to try to get a hit when it matters with guys on base. But he's a tough pitcher. I mean, you can't ever go in facing him saying, oh, it's a lock. No, he's one of the toughest.
Johnny Damon did say it's tough to beat the Yankees 3 in a row, and then he hesitated and said, well, wait a minute, I think we beat them 4 in a row, but that was last year. Today, the winner gets in if Cleveland loses. Let's go to Cleveland and check in there with Josh Lewin. Josh?
Thank you, Chris. And yeah, the Indians are well aware that they can absolutely help themselves with a win today and really need a win today. They had one gift wrapped yesterday. They just couldn't knock it down. We talked to Aaron Boone, though, about the resiliency of this young Cleveland team.
We're really good at taking on the day. I mean, I think people get sick of hearing us talk about it, but, you know, it's really how we've been all year, and through good times, through tough periods. We're really good at turning the page each day and preparing for the opponent that day, the pitcher that day, and taking it from there. And once we get between the lines, we go let it hang out.
Just what Red Sox fans wanted, a soundbite from Aaron Boone. Let's talk about what he says, though, Rick. Is he right?
Well, he is right. He's one of the veteran leaders in that young clubhouse, and it all stems off they got a low-key approach from manager Eric Wedge. But if they want to turn the page on today's ball game, they're going to have to score some runs. They have not been able to hit with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, 0 for their last 23, as a matter of fact. Something's got to give. The Indians need a win against the White Sox today. Jeannie, let's send it back to you.
Yeah, I don't know if we can give enough credit to the schedule makers circling this one on the calendar weeks ago, and maybe George Steinbrenner circling this one years ago. This is what he brought Randy Johnson in for. Speaking of bringing somebody in, brought in an old Yankee pitcher, a knuckleballer, to toss a few during batting practice today.
You know, Jeannie, there's no way to really get prepared for a knuckleball. I remember in 1992, Tim Wallach was our third baseman in Montreal, and he could throw a knuckleball. He threw batting practice because we're going to face Wakefield. All he did was shut us out, so it doesn't mean a thing.
It's gonna help. All right, well, how do the Sox prepare for this guy?
Randy Johnson with that 96 fastball threw a good game, and he's showing well down the stretch right here. And Tim Wakefield, you really don't know. Even if Tim Wakefield gives up a couple runs in the first inning, he could put up 6 zeros just like that. I managed Timmy back in 1995, and you've got to be very patient when you're managing a knuckleball pitcher. The only way to hit a knuckleballer in reality is make sure the ball is up in the zone. And if it's down across your knees, if it's across the home plate, don't swing at it. It's going to drop out of the zone. That's the only way you approach a knuckleball, is make sure it's up. If you see it up at your eyes, it might float right into your swing.
Yeah, you make it look and sound so easy. Wait,
Very easy.
We shall see. Let's move on to the National League. Break down the playoff picture for you, because the Phillies say, hey, wait a second. Don't forget about us yet.
Really like this guy, Ryan Howard, Rookie of the Year candidate, maybe the leading one, along with Jeffrey Francoeur, Willie Taveras of the Houston Astros, gets a home run to get some Philadelphia Phillies tied right there. How about Jimmy Rollins? When you're hot, you're hot.
Yeah, this will be 34, really, just putting his team on his back. Got his hitting streak alive and keeping the Phillies alive.
Just when you think the Phillies are out, they get some extension from Pat Burrell right there. You know, the Phillies are right there. They're for a reason. Billy Wagner and his 98 to 100-mile-an-hour fastball. That doesn't feel good.
He was clocked later in the night at 103.
Wow.
Brad Wilkerson clocked right there. Doing okay, though.
That's called getting sawed off right there, Jeannie. Nick Johnson fastball on the hands. Phillies maintaining pace right there if the Astros lose. What do? Andy Pettit, under the radar the second half, 11-2, one of the best records in the National League. Trying to put some zeros up there, but he's got to face Carlos Zambrano. The Astros get on the board early.
Well, we also have the Cubs on a mission because they say, and they remember, the Astros knocked them out of playoff situation last year.
What Dusty Baker said early in the week, I'm going to play all my guys down the stretch for the integrity of the game.
Then he owes it to every other team in the chase.
Exactly right, and that's what they did last night.
And the Astros owe it to Lance Berkman, 11 home runs, 27 RBI in his last 28 games.
Yeah, who's going to close it out? They're worried about that. I can see that, right?
Yeah,
right,
that was a lot of fear.
Getting it done right there. The Chicago Cubs a 4-3 victory over the Houston Astros, which tells you what? Yes, that's right. Yeah. The Rocket Man on the mound today, left hamstring pull.
All the planets are aligning this weekend. We've got Yankees, Red Sox, and we got Clemens with an opportunity.
Jeannie, and he missed his last start. He did throw a bullpen session on Thursday. He said, no matter what, if we clinch on Friday or not, I'm going to pitch Saturday. He needs some innings going into the postseason. And knowing Roger, even though he's a power pitcher, he needs his legs. Knowing Roger, 80% of Roger Clemens is better than anybody else. I'll take my chances with Clemens on the mound tonight.
So Roger knows where he will be today. The new season begins Tuesday night on Fox, so we know we will be here. We just really don't know who else. Division Series Tuesday night on Fox, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Still ahead, more from Fenway, the address of Ken Rosenthal for the weekend. Lucky guy. He'll join us with the scoop on the playoff contenders. Is this it for Roger in Houston and the 3-and-out Cardinals? But, of course, it's Kevin Kennedy getting the last licks, getting fast and loose with the alphabet. DH, MVP, OZAL, Man of the Year. We'll break it down.
Welcome back to the Chevy MLB pregame show on Fox. Chevy, an American revolution.
You knew it would come down to this. 160 games in the books, and still we have questions. That's what FoxSports.com's Ken Rosenthal is for. Answers. He's joining us from Fenway. The Astros, one win away from the World Series last year, and now they're on the brink of yet another postseason. But could this be the last hurrah, considering their payroll crunch for 06, Ken?
It absolutely could be, Jeannie. They have 4 players who are going to earn a combined $60 million next year. Oswalt, Pettit, Berkman, and Bagwell. Teams are already calling them, asking if Oswalt and Pettit might be available because they know that the Astros also might have to pay Roger Clemens. Now, the obvious solution from a payroll standpoint would be if Jeff Bagwell retired, but Bagwell spent more than 4 months rehabbing from that shoulder surgery. I would imagine he wants to come back. All
right, let's talk about the Padres. They're going with Pedro in Game 2. Do the Pods actually realize which Pedro we're talking about here?
Yeah, this would be, J.D., Pedro Estacio, and it's not set in stone yet that he would start Game 2, but he has been their second best pitcher down the stretch. 2.20 ERA in his last 7 starts, and Adam Eaton's been better at home than on the road this year. You can put Pedro Estacio into, say, Busch Stadium. He'd have that veteran experience. He wouldn't be rattled at all.
All right, if the season ended today, the just above 500 Padres would face the Cardinals, but you're hearing the matchup may not be as lopsided as it appears.
Right. Scouts following the Cardinals are worried about their pitching, quite frankly, and most of those concerns, Jeannie, revolve around Chris Carpenter. More than 240 innings pitched this year, more than a 10 ERA in his last 4 starts. Their bullpen is not what it was. Albert Pujols last night, first home run in 76 at-bats. This team is dragging a little bit, and if Carpenter is not right, the upset could be possible.
Was it too soon to talk about the hottest free agent this offseason? Lou Piniella? No. What are you hearing?
He is the hottest free agent this offseason without question, and he's a guy who's going to have a wide range of possibilities. Baltimore could pursue him. Washington could pursue him. In Florida, Jack McKeon is expected to be out. But it might be best for Piniella if he just sits out a year, because then, within a year, the Yankees job could open, the Red Sox job could open, and perhaps the Cubs job as well.
All right, speaking of the Yankees, speaking of the Red Sox, it's a question we seem to be asking every other week, depending on the rise and fall of the Yankees and the Red Sox. Joe Torre out. What's the deal with Francona as well?
Both these managers obviously are under a tremendous amount of scrutiny. If the Yankees get swept here this weekend and don't make the playoffs, the rumblings about Joe Torre will grow even louder. There, of course, has been a faction in that organization that has wanted him out all year long. Now, with Piniella available, who knows? Same thing for Francona. If they miss the playoffs, I don't think he would be fired. Remember, they've been without Pedro and Lowe. They've had Schilling injured, Fulk injured, but he doesn't enjoy widespread support among his front office and ownership. Certainly, if he stayed, he'd be one of the first managers in trouble perhaps next season.
All right, Ken, thank you so much. You can get more in-depth on foxsports.com.
Thanks, Gene.
Got a little bit more right now from Kevin. MVP of the AL.
Well, I picked A-Rod in March. I'm going to stay with him. Defense has to count for something. Stealing a base, scoring runs. I love David Ortiz. You can't take it away, but I think it's A-Rod.
Wakefield or Randy Johnson? Who wins today?
I think that's an even match today. I think Randy Johnson comes up big. Let me put it that way.
All right, there he is, psyching himself up. Time to get out to the ball game. 3 teams, just 2 more invites to the postseason. Who's it going to be? You know, we'll be bringing you lots of updates.
Once again, it's head-to-head and winner takes all. It's not the first time these two have faced each other at the final table.
No team has ever forced the Game 7 being down 3-0.
The Boston Red Sox have won the pennant. It has been like a heavyweight fight. It's 160 games, dead even. It's all in for the AL East. Winner takes all in this high-stakes poker game. Yankees and Red Sox next on Fox. There is a buzz here in Boston. Yawkey Way, the fans are out there ready to come in. Most are already in Fenway Park, getting ready for the Yankees and the Red Sox. Little battle for the AL MVP. A-Rod against David Ortiz, and on a beautiful day in Boston, off we go. What's important to note, yeah, they're tied at the top of the division, but realize that the winner of today's game is in the playoffs, combined with a Cleveland Indians loss. So because of that, we'll be checking in on what's going on with the Indians and White Sox all afternoon. I'm Joe Buck. Tim McCarver in just a second. You know, when you consider the last 2 ALCSs, you thought, well, how much more can these 2 teams give us? Then the schedule came out. They opened the season against one another at Yankee Stadium, and you thought, well, there's no way it's going to come down to the final weekend at Boston at Fenway Park, and guess what? It's come down to the final weekend here in Boston with these 2 teams tied after 160 games. And Tim McCarver, it's a beautiful day. It's a great matchup. And pitching-wise, we've got Randy Johnson against Tim Wakefield. Let's talk about Randy Johnson first. When they picked him up from the Arizona Diamondbacks, people thought, that's interesting. This is the kind of game they got him for.
Yeah, very interesting, Joe. Signed to a 3-year contract. There were eyebrows raised, but if he wins today, there will be no eyebrows raised. I think a lot of Yankee fans think that if he wins today, that will justify the 3-year contract.
And when you think about the Red Sox and their lineup, their biggest, most dangerous threat is David Ortiz, a left-handed batter. There's one guy who could really keep him at bay. It's a guy like Randy Johnson. Ortiz is only 2 out of 14 against him in his career. Let's talk about the other side, the knuckleballer, Tim Wakefield. Do people realize how good of a season this guy's had?
I think he's had his best season as a Boston Red Sox. Maybe not statistically, but he has been the guy with the 70-mile-an-hour flutter ball. He'll be tested against the 95-mile-an-hour fastball of Randy Johnson. It should be a great afternoon here at Fenway.
So off we go. A beautiful day, and we get ready for the Fox Saturday Game of the Week. Boston, New York, and it's all yours right after this.
Battle for first. Randy Johnson, Tim Wakefield, step right up. It's the MLB game on Fox. All the names and numbers here. Best rivalry.
By a program, you know the names by now. Names like A-Rod, Giambi, and Sheffield, Matsui, Renteria, Ortiz, Ramirez. Here's the lineup for the Yankees. It's sponsored by Taco Bell. Derek Jeter will lead off, the shortstop A-Rod in that MVP race with David Ortiz batting second. Then Giambi, the DH, at first last night. That played a role in last night's outcome. Sheffield, Matsui, Cano, the outstanding rookie. Tino Martinez is back in there. Bernie Williams in center, and John Flaherty does the catching. when Randy Johnson is pitching for Joe Torre. Take a look at Tim Wakefield, a guy who is 16-11, and over the last couple of years, whatever they've needed, Tim Wakefield is there to provide it for the Boston Red Sox.
And you mentioned John Flaherty catching Randy Johnson. Doug Mirabelli, for the most part, only catches Tim Wakefield. So the captain of the Red Sox, Jason Varitek, not playing today.
So off we go. Derek Jeter first up. 199 hits on the year, and you can see it's going to be a tough sun field, and the shadows already creeping toward home plate. We're, I don't know, 15 minutes away from home plate being in the shade and the pitcher's mound in the sunlight. And it is a bright sunlight here today. One ball, one strike.
It looks like the Marine Corps is represented in straightaway center field right to the right. The Red Sox hand out green T-shirts on days like this. But that shadow around home plate, there they are.
And that's certainly not to help the Yankees. That's to help the Red Sox hitters against the left-hander, all 6'10" of Randy Johnson, who brings the ball out of that area out in the center field bleachers.
Right.
Jeter will start this game with a base hit into left field. Took a knuckleball and hit it sharply into left, and Jeter has 200 hits for the first time since the 2000 season. And he's on to start the day for New York. 200 more hits in a season. Jeter's done it 4 times. Only Gehrig is in front of him. You know, Tim Wakefield is pitching on 3 days rest, and we had an interesting chat with Terry Francona, the manager of the Red Sox, before the game. And you said what I would have said and what most people say about Wakefield pitching on short rest. Who cares? He's a knuckleball pitcher.
Right.
But Francona said Tim gets frustrated by that because there's more to it than just the toll pitching takes on somebody's arm. The legs primarily. Everything else that's involved. And when Wakefield doesn't have proper rest, as A-Rod grounds one up the middle, Jeter will turn and go to third as everybody's running on Damon. First and third, nobody out. When Wakefield doesn't have his legs, he can still throw that knuckleball, but it's not as good knuckleball. And 2 Yankees have been to the plate, and both are on with base hits.
Sounds like a new TV program. Everybody runs on Damon. Everybody will be running on Bernie Williams, too. A pretty good knuckleball away from Alex Rodriguez and grounded up the middle. Normally with nobody out, nobody takes third base. But as you mentioned, the poor throwing arm of Johnny Damon matched by Bernie Williams, who's in center for the Yankees. So anything in center field, they'll be running, both teams.
2 Sundays ago, these 2 starters, Wakefield and Randy Johnson, hooked up, and the only run in the game, a 1-0 Yankee win, was on a home run hit by Jason Giambi. It came in the first, and here he is at the plate, first and third, nobody out. And Giambi takes a strike as Alex Rodriguez bluffed like he was trying to steal second. Giambi has driven in 86 and hit 32 home runs. When we first started coming to you on the game of the week in May, that seemed an impossibility. He gets under this one and pops it down the right side. It is headed for the seats and out of play. Strike 2. Go back to September 11th. First inning, only run of the day. Randy Johnson went 7. The bullpen finished it, and the Yankees won that game. Now it's an 0-2 count on Giambi. First and third, nobody out. Ripped foul. That pitch was up, and Giambi's eyes lit up, but he pulled the trigger too soon.
Yeah, that pitch was up and slow. Again, 70 miles an hour. It's not the speed of the knuckleball, but how it dances. A lot of hitters want to rush out there to try to hit it on the fat part. Giambi out in front, 2 knuckleballs in a row.
Out in front again, and he yanks this one foul. 94-66, the record for both the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. The Yankees have the edge in the season series, 9 wins compared to 8 losses. The Yankees have won 7 straight division titles, and the Red Sox have been the team behind him the entire time. Runner at first goes. That's Rodriguez, and another ball hooked foul down the right side.
That's the danger of going with nobody out, runners on at first and third. A line drive, then you have 2 outs and Jeter still at third. If Giambi hits, the infield is back. On a ground ball to any infielder, a double play, you score a run. That's why it's dangerous to run in this situation.
And Giambi grounds to the right side. In to score is Jeter. No throw to first as A-Rod takes out Renteria. 1-0 New York as they strike first here on a Saturday afternoon.
Tony Grappanino gave Renteria a good throw, but it was a soft throw. It looked like he lost his balance playing, of course, Giambi to pull, and he was back on his heels. He gave the ball softly, and what that did, it gave A-Rod a chance to get down and take Renteria out of the play.
Renteria, who's already committed 30 errors, an alarming total, thought better of trying to get Giambi at first to finish off the double play, and now Sheffield takes low ball 1. So 1-0 New York. Back-to-back hits by Jeter and Rodriguez. An RBI force out hit into by Giambi. That's foul.
So you see Giambi pulling the ball foul down first, and now Sheffield on the first knuckleball pulling it foul down third. It is very difficult to stay back, not only against a guy like Wakefield, but under the circumstances of this game. Everybody very, very hyped up.
Except this crowd. They're rather quiet here at the start of the day. 1 on, 1 out, 1 run home, and Sheffield takes it high and tight. 2-1. Home plate umpire is Gary Darling. And obviously, anytime you have a knuckleball pitcher on the mound, his fortunes can rest on the home plate umpire. What's he willing to give? He's giving that one, and it's 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Runner at first, 1 out. And Sheffield fouls it back. Gary Sheffield, his last 21 games against Boston, has 19 RBIs, and he's hitting .380. And he is like clockwork. Another season, another 30-plus home runs, way over 100 RBIs. And bothered by a quad strain, but he is back, able to play right field, and that has a big impact on the kind of lineup Joe Torre can put together. That's a little up and in. Full count. So you know this broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. Sheffield reaching for it. It's still a full count. We said it at the top, and we're going to say it, I'm sure, over and over again, to the point where you'll want to hit your mute button even more. But the winner of this game, combined with the Cleveland Indians loss as they play at home against the White Sox, the winner of this game gets into the playoffs, again, provided Cleveland loses. Sheffield rockets one to deep left center field, and just like that, it's 3-0 New York. So Wakefield has given up 3 hits, including the home run, and Randy Johnson has a 3-0 first inning lead.
One of the differences between Tim Wakefield this year and in years past is this year he's throwing more fastballs. He threw all knuckleballs to Gary Sheffield until the 3-2 pitch. You can see the fastball grip, and it is right down the pipe, but not for long. Right into the strength of Gary Sheffield.
Wakefield uses the fastball as the changeup.
Yeah,
he uses the fastball to sneak in there and try to keep hitters honest, and sometimes get a strike when he needs one. But if Sheffield, who's so quick, has got such great hands, recognizes fastball, that's basically a batting practice fastball.
That's right.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Gary Sheffield did not miss it. Home run number 34, and he's up to 123 RBIs. Matsui grounds to Millar. 2 out. So here's the other part of this playoff picture. When you need somebody from across the Charles at MIT to figure the thing out, because you've got Cleveland fighting for a wild card spot and having right now a record that's 1 game behind the combination of the Yankees and the Red Sox. But the Yankees, if they get 1 win, can at the very worst force a 1-game playoff between these 2 clubs on Monday at Yankee Stadium. Cano, the rookie, bloops one into left, and Manny Ramirez is there to end the inning. Thankfully, the inning ended, because that's about all I have on that topic. Going to have to get somebody from MIT quickly. Randy Johnson will emerge from the shadows, all 6-10 of them. He has a 3-0 first inning lead. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Sprint. Sprint, yes you can. And by Chevy. Chevy and baseball, they just go together at American Revolution. Take a look at lineup for the Boston Red Sox, sponsored by Taco Bell. This thunderous lineup is started by Johnny Damon, then Edgar Renteria, David Ortiz, Big Papi leading the league in RBIs, and Ramirez, Millar, Miller, Mirabelli, Nixon. And batting 9th is the second baseman Tony Graffinino. Johnny Damon first up, and a ball down and in. It was surprising the amount of time that Randy Johnson spent warming up for this game, and you wonder if at his age, which is 42 years old, if he's changed his pregame routine. It's something we can ask about after this game, but he didn't go out to warm up in the bullpen until quarter after 1 o'clock locally, and was back in the dugout getting ready for the start 8 minutes later.
I mean, I don't think I have ever seen a starting pitcher in the major leagues warm up that quickly. 8 or 9 minutes. I don't really know what that means. It certainly does not mean that he's tired and he wants to save it for the first inning, because no starting pitcher will go out there unless he's completely loose. Wild early, however, to Damon.
3-1 pitch is inside for ball 4, and Randy Johnson gives a glare in at the home plate umpire. Good start for the Red Sox as Damon is handed a leadoff walk. Randy Johnson has really come on of late. If you ask Joe Torre about Randy Johnson, he'll say, well, he's got that look about him. He's just got that look. He doesn't care about what's going on around him. He is focused in on doing his job, and he has for the most part this year. 16-8 record in 33 starts and an ERA of 3.79. Damon is running, and he'll take the base uncontested. Number 18 for Johnny Damon.
And the 4th stolen base in the last 3 days for the Red Sox center fielder. Normally you're a little cautious when you're 3 runs down, but no time to be cautious in game 161 when you're tied with the opposition.
A 1-0 to Renteria is on the outside corner, a ball and a strike. Randy Johnson is 4-0 against the Red Sox this season. That's in 5 starts. His 1-1 pitch. Strike 2. When you have that glare and that look about you, you can put together big numbers, as Randy Johnson has over his last 7 starts. A record of 5-0, an ERA of 1.64. And during that stretch, the Yankees are 6-1. Renteria stays up there. Here are those numbers with the 36 strikeouts compared to 10 walks, but Johnson's day started with a leadoff walk to Damon. Stole second, and he waits out there for Renteria to move him over or get him in. 2-2.
That's the thing about Cano holding Damon close. I mean, the Yankees have a 3-run lead. If you're too concerned with Damon, you've got a hitter at the plate who is very adept at hitting the ball to the right side. To me, I think Cano should be straight up instead of worrying about Damon.
Renteria flies one into right for Sheffield. Damon will tag and advance. And it's a runner at third, one out as Renteria does his job. Gary Sheffield went from the bright sunlight into the shadow of one of the light standards here at Fenway and had his shades on, had to adjust to make that catch, and what an appropriate reaction for David Ortiz, who's digging in at the plate. Runner at third, one out. Strike one. We said it at the top. 2 out of 14 in his career against Randy Johnson.
When Randy Johnson beat the Red Sox in Tim Wakefield 1-0 on September the 11th, David Ortiz didn't play against him. So it's been a while since he's faced Randy Johnson.
And he's quickly in the hole 0-2.
You don't see a timid swing like that from David Ortiz. I'll tell you, Renteria had some strange swings, and now David Ortiz feeling for the ball. He didn't see that ball real well.
Damon at third, one out. And Ortiz, it sounded like it glanced off his arm. He says something, says something to Gary Darling, but he's not going to get first base. You heard an extra little tick. And I think that hit him on the left forearm.
I agree with that.
And instead of first and third, one out, Ortiz strikes out for the second out. That is a huge turn of events. I'll say this, Ortiz didn't sell it very well, but he was hit by the previous pitch and ends up, instead of going down to first, striking out.
Instead of going down to first, and here is the previous pitch, and we'll listen to it.
And then Ortiz says something as he looks at his forearm, says something to Darling, the home plate umpire, and then this pitch followed.
And he didn't see that pitch either. Very difficult to see at home plate now for the Red Sox hitters, particularly against Randy Johnson.
Manny Ramirez takes a strike, and he's backing out of there with that first pitch. 288, huge numbers. 42 home runs, 138 RBIs. And you can see how those shadows are almost to home plate itself. Now it's 0-2 on Ramirez. Talk about tilt. Great tilt to these sliders from Randy Johnson.
It's what Joe Torre talks about, a guy who can get on top of the slider, and by having that tilt from a guy who's 6'10", it makes it go down dramatically.
And Ramirez will live to see another pitch, 95 miles per hour on a high fastball. And Ramirez doesn't see many fastballs he doesn't like to take a hack at, he says, making English teachers cringe across the country. 0-2.
One of the best two-strike hitters in the game, Manny Ramirez.
That is a rocket into left, hooking down the line. It is gone, a home run. And it's 3-2 as Manny Ramirez takes one out.
Repeat, one of the best two-strike hitters in baseball. Over the foul pole. And no argument from John Flaherty. He would be the guy to argue for the New York Yankees.
Now with 2 out, Millar takes a strike at the knees.
That ball was hit so hard, it really didn't have a chance to get foul. It didn't have a chance to hook foul.
That, unbelievably, is the 31st home run allowed by Randy Johnson this season.
19 of those on the road, where he has a below 500 record. 5-6 coming into this game.
Millar did not go. And the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nine home runs on the year for Millar. Split a lot of time in the second half with John Olerud at first for Boston. 2-2. In the air to right for Sheffield. 1 inning in the books. It is urgent. We've seen 2 blasts in this first inning. Sheffield. Ramirez. Yankees, Red Sox. 3-2 New York after 1. First pitch to Tino Martinez to start the second. Floats down and in, ball 1. Martinez, Bernie Williams, John Flaherty. There's the baseball that Manny Ramirez hit. And it was so far out of here. From our angle, it looked like it was close to being a foul ball. It was clearly fair, and now Tino Martinez rockets one foul down the right field line. 1 ball, 1 strike. As we look right down the line, it goes over the Bud Light sign, and it is clearly a fair ball.
Yep.
Yankees got 3, Red Sox got 2, and here comes New York again. A leadoff hit for Tino Martinez. Jeannie Zelasco with a game break.
With Cleveland, the White Sox threatening. Aaron Rowan hit by pitch, hanging out on first base. Could Jeff Blum bring him around? Not so much. They are still scoreless at the J. But Cleveland would get a runner on. We will keep you posted on it. Again, no scores. We sit bottom 2.
All right, Jeannie. So it is Westbrook against Garland. 13-inning affair last night that the White Sox won, and they started that game with only a couple of regulars in their lineup.
Yeah, Ozzie Guillen, the manager of the White Sox, for his candor, saying that the Cleveland Indians are better than either the Yankees or the Red Sox. Ozzie does that often. He does raise eyebrows.
That's lined off the glove of Millar, and Tino Martinez can't run, but even he's going to make it to third. Bernie Williams will cruise into second on a ball that went literally off the glove of Millar at first.
Red Sox sacrificing defense when they don't have John Olerud in there, but that ball, I don't know how you would score that. It was crushed down the right field line. I would think a double. Even though Millar didn't have to jump for it, it is going to be scored a double for Bernie Williams.
So we talk about how the hitters try and pick up the baseball. That was a left-handed batter. That side of the batter's box is in the shade, and I'm sure Millar didn't see that ball all that well coming off the bat.
That's a very good point and accurate.
Second and third with nobody out. And there's no doubt that Millar didn't pick that ball up until it was too late. So it's a double, and Flaherty is in the hole 0-2. Flaherty is in a good position. He has found job security. He has taken to the lineup every time that Randy Johnson has been on the mound, and Randy Johnson has been outstanding over the past month. Top of the third inning now in Cleveland, no score. Flaherty pops it up, right side, foul ball, out of play, and out of the reach of Doug Mirabelli. So it's still 0-2 on Flaherty, who has driven in 10 runs for the season.
Talk about sacrificing defense. When Flaherty's in there, obviously the Yankees sacrifice offense by not having Jorge Posada, and perhaps not the time to talk about it now. But if they get into a 4 of 7 situation and Randy Johnson pitches 3 times, who are you going to start behind the plate, Posada or Flaherty?
Flaherty grounds another one foul. I would think they'd like to keep the 6'10" guy happy. And while you may sacrifice some offense, this lineup is good enough that you can make up for what you lose with Posada and give that up for a guy like Randy Johnson if he's going to pitch effectively. 0-2. And a shot into left center field will add to the lead. Both runners are tagging and both will advance. So a double dip there for the Yankees and Flaherty. He gets the sac fly for the RBI, and he advances Bernie Williams to third with only 1 out in the inning. Bernie Williams was out at second base saying, I see guys run on me all day. Johnny Damon, it's your turn.
It's going to be his turn if the Red Sox have an opportunity, because, to reiterate, both center fielders with poor throwing arms.
So it's 4-2 New York. Infield comes in, and here is Derek Jeter. 200th hit of the season came in the first, and he scored on an RBI groundout by Giambi. And he pops one into right center field. Nixon will take it. Williams will tag and come to the plate, and the 3-run lead is back for New York. It's 5-2 Yankees here in the second. Jeannie Zelasco is going to be busy all day.
All right, well, we showed you the mystery man. It was Ronnie Belliard with the double to give Cleveland a shot. But then Bouchard flew out to center, and we still have no scoring. Cleveland, top 3.
All right, Jeannie, here it's 5-2 New York. Top of the second. For the Indians, their last playoff appearance, they lost the division series in 2001 to Seattle. Last World Series title coming in 1948. They came oh so close in 1995, but lost to the Marlins. Here's a pitch low, rather the Atlanta Braves. That was the year the Braves won. 97 was against the Florida Marlins, and Edgar Renteria, who's the shortstop for the Boston Red Sox, was a guy who drove in the game winner. 2 balls and a strike now on Alex Rodriguez, who has a single. The 2-1. Popped up, and the aforementioned Renteria will go out. He can't see it. Manny Ramirez comes in, and as the two come together, Ramirez makes the grab. Could have put the glasses down, but didn't. 5-2 Yankees after an inning and a half. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Bud Light. Smooth and refreshing Bud Light. Great taste for your great times. Red Sox fans want something else to cheer about. They got that 2-out 2-run shot by Ramirez in the first to make it 3-2. Now it's 5-2 New York. After the Yankees got a single from Martinez, a double by Williams, and sac flies by Flaherty and Jeter. Billy Miller hitting .294. 1-0 pitch. 2-0.
Randy Johnson came to the mound. He stopped to talk to Gary Darling, and we surmise it was about that 3-1 pitch to Johnny Damon, on which Johnny walked, and glaring in then. The one good thing about glaring in on a day like this, you can't see him.
Hey, look, I just couldn't see. It's the sun. Take it personally. Meanwhile, the count's 3-0. Now 3-1. Three balls and a strike on Miller. The first inning for Boston started with a walk. And a leadoff walk starts Boston's second.
Flaherty out to talk to Randy Johnson. I mean, let's face it, Randy Johnson needs to be coddled perhaps more than any other major league pitcher. When he beat the Red Sox 1-0, his next start in Toronto, he was ejected in the second inning of a big ball game. and felt so bad about it that the next day he apologized not only to the press but to his team. But he is an eccentric pitcher, and I don't know any other better word for that for him.
And that's part of Flaherty's job as he guides him through game after game. Now Mirabelli gets one off the end of the bat and fouls it off to the right. There's no doubt that the home plate umpire right now is under the skin of Randy Johnson. There are the numbers for Mirabelli, a very good backup catcher. And a guy who, for the most part, seems content with his role here playing behind Varitek, who I think is the best in the business. But he is the knuckleball catching specialist.
Yeah, he's a different type specialist than John Flaherty is. You can see him. They're 2 feet, 3 feet apart right now. Good slider from Randy Johnson. But Mirabelli catching Wakefield, obviously because he has great hands for the knuckleball.
Mirabelli swings over the top of that pitch. 1 on 1 out. Back to Jeannie Zalasko.
Rothflow drove in the final and winning run last night. Could he drive in the first today? Iguchi waiting, but no. Still scoreless in Cleveland, bottom 3.
Like how Jeannie builds a suspense on those highlights.
Yeah. Well, that's a score you would think would be in this game. This is a 5-2 game in the bottom of the second. You'd think it'd be 0-0 with these two guys going.
Here's Trot Nixon. On the outside corner. We asked Terry Francona before the game if Gabe Kapler were healthy, and he tore his Achilles tendon. The game in Toronto earlier this season, if he would be in the lineup today, and Francona said yes. But he's not available, out for the rest of the year, so Trot Nixon has to go lefty on lefty and deal with Randy Johnson. There's Gabe Kapler. Red Sox got him back from Japan earlier this season. 0-2 pitch, and that was quick and easy for Randy Johnson. Third strikeout for the big left-hander. And Graffinino will step in. This week in Major League Baseball history, October 1st, 1961, Roger Maris hit historic number 61 off Tracy Stallard, breaking the Babe single-season home run mark as the Yankees beat the Red Sox 1-0. For more information, log on to foxsports.com on MSN. Keyword Budweiser. 1 on, 2 out. Graffinino takes a strike. Joe Torre has his 2 big guns in the bullpen ready to go for extended work if he and the Yankees need it today. Graffinino is set up at 0-2. He's got arrested Rivera and for the most part arrested Gordon. And he said whatever it takes over the next 2 days, they are going to be in, and it could be multiple innings for each.
Could be for the next 3 days.
No doubt about that. Graffinino stays up there.
One of the better moves that Theo Epstein, the general manager of the Red Sox, made was acquiring Tony Graffinino from the Kansas City Royals. He has done an excellent job for the Red Sox. 180 at bats, batting over 300.
Graffinino rolls the wrist and gets one under the glove of Derek Jeter into left, and it's 2 on with 2 out. A walk and a hit in the inning, and Jeter grabbed some dirt and threw it out into the outfield after not getting a glove on this.
Not only can guys not see at the plate, but it's difficult to see when the ball is coming out of that shadow. Joe, you picked that up against Kevin Millar. Jeter didn't pick that ball up either. Going after that ball to his right very tentatively.
And that means Damon will bat. Red Sox have the tying run at the plate for a guy whose extra base prowess has really dropped off. He takes a ball. He walked, stole a base, and scored his first time. He's bothered by a nagging left shoulder injury. It's that back shoulder, and it has sapped him of a lot of his power. Two balls, no strikes with Renteria next. And again, Flaherty has to go out and calm down Randy Johnson. Believing the first 2 pitches were good enough for strikes, and instead it's 2-0.
They had 2 balls. Now Flaherty has to run the ball that Randy didn't like. Back to home plate umpire Gary Darling. That was funny. The ball was thrown to Martinez. Flaherty had a ball. Martinez had a ball. Randy Johnson not happy with home plate umpire.
And Damon might have just done him a favor. Swung over the top of that pitch. It's 2-1.
It could have been high enough, but it might have been inside.
3 balls and a strike. Renteria would be the man in the box next. That'll load him up. And again, Johnson stares in at the home plate umpire. And now Mel Stottlemyre is going to have to do his best work in trying to calm down his big left-hander.
The whole infield and Mel Stottlemyre on the mound now. You have 6 shrinks on the mound right now. Because Randy Johnson thinks there's a shrinking strike zone.
So while they gather, we'll tell you that Tuesday, Fox Sports is once again your home for the most dramatic, compelling, and heartbreaking month in sports. It all begins with Game 1 of the Division Series Tuesday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. The MLB postseason on Fox. It can't be scripted. So now the bases are loaded, 2 out. And Edgar Renteria is up in a key spot. Ball 1. Ball 2. Two balls and a strike on Renteria. Ball 3. Full count. Renteria trying to work a walk. And now the runners will creep away with a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Bases loaded, 2 out. Good rip. And Johnson did not let up to try and throw a strike. 94 miles per hour from the left-hander. Randy Johnson, with 2 outs in the second, has already thrown 50 pitches. Wow. Inning over. 51 pitches through 2 innings. But Johnson and the Yankees have a 3-run lead. 5-2 New York after 2 here at Fenway. Back after this from your local Fox station. Underway in the 3rd inning, and the first pitch is a strike to Jason Giambi. It's Giambi, Sheffield, Matsui, Affleck, Garner, and Baby. Cue shot off the end of the bat. It's 0-2. It's 5-2. The Yankees on top. And we've talked about it plenty already, but when Randy Johnson got back to the dugout, Tim, Joe Torre went right over to him because you can see his frustration mounting, and it is affecting the way that he's pitching. That's down and in, ball one. He's thrown 51 pitches. He believes he's being squeezed by Gary Darling. And Johnson has already walked 3 and just tiptoed out of trouble.
Yep.
A 1-2. That's out of play.
Now, if it were as simple as just telling a pitcher to stay on top or have tilt or stuff like that, but let's face it, we've talked about it throughout the year, how fragile that position is. We talked about it earlier. Eccentricity is one word to use for it, but I think fragility probably a better word.
Giambi pops it up. For the first time, Wakefield retires a leadoff hitter. 1 out in the 3rd. Let's go to Jeannie Zalasko.
Well, you gentlemen know this postseason about pitching and defense. Cleveland getting a little bit of both today. Jake Westbrook on the mound, and how about the nice glove work by Ben Bouchard in the 4th. And as a result, guys, goose eggs are wild in Cleveland, bottom 4.
All right, Jeannie, here it's 5-2, so runs all over the place. We've seen a couple of home runs, a 2-run shot by Ramirez and a 2-run shot by the guy at the plate, Sheffield. And you can see he didn't get a real good look. On top of that, it's a knuckleball, so he has no clue where that pitch is going to end up. So Sheffield ducked out of the way. And now takes one on the inside corner.
That's the type of movement that Wakefield wants on the knuckleball, that ball that dances from one side of the plate to the other.
2-1. Base is empty, 1 down, and Sheffield grounds to Renteria. 2 out for the first time today. We say hello to Chris Myers.
Hey, Tim and Joe, at the request of George Steinbrenner, the Yankees did something facing a knuckleball pitcher that they haven't done before. They brought in a former Major League knuckleball pitcher to pitch to their hitters in batting practice. The Yankees didn't take it on the field. It was underneath in the batting cage. Joe Asunia, who pitched in the 94-95 season, is a knuckleballer, and he's with the Hudson Valley Renegades. Just a handful of the guys took batting practice, and one of the hitters said to me afterwards, it really doesn't matter. With a knuckleball, my advice is if it's high, let it fly. If it's low, let it go.
It's good.
With 2 out, nobody on, here's Matsui. And by saying if it's high, let it fly, meaning take a rip. And if it's low, don't go after it. You see some guys get way up in the box, some guys get back in the box, some guys trying to go the other way when they hit against a knuckleball pitcher. Matsui is in the hole here 0-2.
The one thing that everybody agrees on, hitting or catching a knuckleballer, is to wait as long as possible. That's the only conclusive thing that everybody agrees on.
Matsui hits one to center field, and Damon will watch. This ball is gone. A home run off the top of the wall and into the hitter's background. And Matsui has just made it 6-2 New York. Almost a flat-footed roll your wrists type swing, and Matsui shot it out to a deep part of Fenway.
I think the ball hit the edge of the center field wall and then bounced in the batter's eye. That area right in there. But he does seem like wait a long time and just crushes that ball. Chris was talking about let it fly. That was high, and he let it fly.
And right off the top of the wall and up into the tarped off hitter's background. That makes it a 4-run Yankee lead, their biggest lead of the day. 0-1 pitch. Cano chops at it, grounds to the right side. A little race to the bag, and Millar finally got it out of his glove into Wakefield to end the inning. Second home run of the day for New York. Another run, and after 2.5 here at Fenway Park. It's 6-2 New York. David Ortiz rockets one to left center field. Back at the wall. It's off the wall. Ortiz will cruise into second base with a leadoff double.
I think Bernie Williams gave up on that ball too quickly. If you're a center fielder, you've got to know that the left fielder is trailing the play. You can go as close to the wall as you can and as you want to. to make a play, but you got to realize the left fielder's trailing. This ball really doesn't hit the base of the wall. It short hops the wall, and Ortiz has a double.
On top of that, though, and to be fair, if you watch from this angle, look how long it takes Bernie Williams to even start after that ball.
That's true. Maybe he didn't see it right away.
I don't think he saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see that shot from behind home plate, Bernie Williams is flat-footed with that ball sailing over the infield. And so it's a leadoff double for Ortiz, and Manny Ramirez, who hit a gargantuan home run his first time up, goes after a slider and misses at strike one. You and I haven't even delved into the MVP conversation on the air or off the air.
That is correct.
We'll pick our spot a little better than this. Manny Ramirez with the home run, his first time up. Millar on deck. Red Sox trying to make some noise, down 6-2. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
How rare is it, though, to have two guys in a huge weekend between the two teams, and also a huge battle between two individual players, Alex Rodriguez and David Ortiz, and it will obviously be one of the two to be the MVP of the American League.
Crowd likes the fact that Ramirez just hit a foul ball into the Yankee dugout to make him scatter down there. And now Ramirez in the hole 1 and 2. Here are the two and their numbers. The average, the home runs, the RBIs. Ortiz wins on that count. The run scored. Here's a 1-2. Hard hit to third. Rodriguez gathers it in and throws out Ramirez. Let's go to Jeannie Z with an update.
Well, we're searching for something besides flyouts and pop-outs in Cleveland, so enjoy the Johnny Peralta shot up the middle, literally off John Darwin. It would be to no avail. Peralta was stranded. Nobody has scored in Cleveland. Top 5.
Thank you, Jeannie. You wonder if this country, during this postseason, Tim, will get to see how talented that young Cleveland Indians team is.
Boy, they are fast, they're strong, and they can pitch. One of the best double play combinations in baseball. Their shortstop and second baseman, Belliard and Peralta.
And they can both rake.
Yep. They're good. Real good.
The 1-0. Millar takes a strike. Runner at second, a leadoff double by David Ortiz. Ramirez grounded out to third. And now it's 1-1 on Millar. Against the Yankees, his last 29 games, Millar's hit .368. He is now in the hole, 1 and 2. Ball stayed in the air for a long time, and Sheffield had almost a chance to get there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Millar, his first time, fly to right.
Look at the bullpen of the Red Sox, and someone is getting loose. It's an interesting situation because with the ineffectiveness of Wakefield thus far, you might be not only thinking about a pitching change here, but a chance to get Jason Varitek with the Red Sox trailing by 4 behind the plate.
Randy Johnson is upset, but it was his catcher who called time. So Johnson didn't spin around until late. And Flaherty has to go out there and say, hey, I called time. I didn't like where we were with that pitch or whatever. But it was Flaherty who called time and not Millar. So the count's still 1 and 2. Two and 2. Millar for the year is driven in 50. On a 2-2. Millar took ball 3. And Randy Johnson is doing his best to not let pitches like that upset him. But you can see why that upset him. Not getting the call. It's a full count. Runner at second, 1 out, and Millar flies one into right center field. Sheffield on the run is there to make the catch, and Ortiz does not advance to third. These outfielders are getting such late breaks on balls that are hit their direction that everything is an adventure if it's not popped up.
You're right. I mean, the glare is affecting everything. We saw it affect Bernie Williams, now Gary Sheffield. Earlier we saw it affect Kevin Millar on a line drive by Bernie Williams. Tomorrow, the anniversary of the Bucky Dent home run, and in that play, Lou Piniella, the right fielder at the time, made a terrific play in right field to hold Rick Burleson to second base.
Now a little flare into shallow right for Cano, and the Red Sox do nothing with the leadoff double by David Ortiz.
On a day similar to today.
Fourth inning, Yankees bat up 4. Here at Fenway Park, it's a 6-2 Yankee lead right now. Let's go to Cleveland. Josh Lewin and Rick Manning.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome those of you watching the Red Sox and the Yankees. Josh Lewin, Rick Manning here in Cleveland. Timo Perez ahead in the count 2-0 with 2 on, 1 down. And there is still no score in an extremely well-pitched ball game to this point, Rick. Jake Westbrook and John Garland.
Well, this is the first White Sox player to reach second base or get into scoring position here in the 5th inning. It was back-to-back singles to start the inning. Ozzie Guillen put the bunt on for Pablo Ozuna and made him do it on this, with 2 strikes, and he ended up striking out.
2-1 missing away. Westbrook has been ahead of everybody this entire game, but right now, the last 2-3 batters, he has been staring at counts like this, 3-1.
Well, not what you want to do. Jake Westbrook maybe trying to be a little too fine. He's looking for that ground ball double play, but now they can sit down and be a little more selective in the 3-1 count.
3-1 is hammered, but right to second. Belliard turns the double play.
Who knows what that could have led to for the Chicago White Sox and what that would have meant to the Cleveland Indians. A nice grab, the double play, the inning over there, the top of the 5th. Here we're in the top of the 4th. Tino Martinez led off and struck out. And now Bernie Williams digs in. First strikeout on the day for Tim Wakefield. And a pitch floats over the outside corner for strike 1. So Genie has already cut in with a couple of examples of good defensive plays by the Indians, and they get one there. The 0-1. 0-2 and an awkward swing by Bernie Williams.
Awkward swings mean a dancing knuckleball. A good one from Tim Wakefield. Whew.
And Bernie Williams checks his swing 1-2. Terry Francona telling us that you can see when Tim Wakefield is sharp, that knuckleball is dancing within the strike zone.
Right. And also Doug Mirabelli having a tough time handling it.
Williams grounds to second. Graffinino to his left. 2 out. So with 2 down, the base is empty. John Flaherty, the number 9 hitter, will step to the plate. Maybe now we can talk about it. Who would get your vote for the MVP in the American League? Alex Rodriguez or David Ortiz?
I think David Ortiz is the most valuable hitter in baseball. My vote for the MVP would be Alex Rodriguez because he plays defense, Gold Glove caliber, and he is a base runner with 21 stolen bases.
Well, not just for the sake of argument. I would go the other way.
Okay.
I think David Ortiz has come up with one big hit after another. He helps this team come together off the field. He really fills a large role for Terry Francona. He kind of makes this thing go. And the Red Sox, Yankees tied in the standings. Yankees up 6-2 after 3.5. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Chevy. Chevy and baseball, they just go together. An American Revolution. Welcome back to Fenway Park. It is 6-2 New York, bottom of the 4th inning. We had a chance to visit with Terry Francona moments ago, and we will play that chat we had for you as the number 7 hitter Doug Mirabelli leads off in the 4th, and Randy Johnson deals strike 1. So right now the Yankees and Red Sox are tied atop the American League East with identical records of 94 and 66. The combination of the two is a game better overall than the Cleveland Indians. We're checking in with all day. As we said at the beginning, the winner of this game would clinch a playoff spot if the Cleveland Indians lose today. And if it's the Yankees, they would win the American League East. Again, that's provided the Indians lose. They'd have a 2-game lead over Cleveland with 1 to go. And then you get into head-to-head records between the two clubs. Josh Lewin and Rick Manning are standing by.
And again, we welcome those of you watching the Red Sox and the Yankees. A runner at second and 1 out for Cleveland now. Ronnie Belliard, who had made that leaping catch of a line drive to turn a double play in the top of the inning. He led off with an infield single here in the bottom of the 5th, and then aggressively took second base on a fly ball to center.
Well, the Indians have had 2 runners in scoring position. There was a 2-out double by Belliard back in the 2nd inning, and now here in the 5th, he's on second base. I'd mentioned this is the part where the Indians have had trouble driving them in over their last 24 with runners in scoring position.
Boone dealing with a 1-ball, 1-strike count, no score, bottom 5. The Indians 1 back of the Red Sox and the Yankees. Right at the line, lassoed by Ozuna. Who, by the way, for those of our fans just joining us from Fenway, Ozzie Guillen was telling us when we talked to him in that in-inning interview. He was telling us that Ozuna was bunting on his own. There's the base hit that we're talking about from last inning. And here's a little Belliard action from this inning.
Beats out the infield single and tags up on a fly ball off the bat of Bouchard, gets into scoring position. So that's where he stands now with 2 outs.
Well, again, that inning fizzling in large measure, the top of the inning when Ozuna bunted with 2 strikes, and Ozzie telling us that that was Ozuna's call. Casey Blake, the batter. And there is strike 1. As we continue to discuss this anthem of a lack of clutch hitting for Cleveland, it's been killing them the last couple of weeks. Casey Blake all year has had a huge problem in this situation, hitting about a .160. 1-1 the count to him.
And it seems like the pressure continues to build. Everybody trying to do that instead of relaxing and going after the pitches they like. I think if they could get one, it may take a whole lot of pressure off everybody else in that lineup, but they've yet to get one.
There's the big hit. It is bobbled, and Blake is heading for second, head first. 1-0.
Well, that should get this crowd into it a little bit. That 2-out base hit by Casey Blake gives him his 57th RBI. And he's going to stay back and take that breaking ball the other way. Pretty good piece of hitting right there by Blake to send Belliard around to score the first time in their last 25 ABs that they've gotten a knock with a runner in scoring position. The Indians will take an early 1-0 lead. You'll see him go head first on the error out there in the outfield.
Yeah, single RBI, E9 at 1-0 Cleveland, and now the top of the order, Grady Sizemore. As we've discussed, the Indians aching for the big 2-out hit. That is something that they just have not had the last couple of weeks. And Casey Blake delivered one.
Right there, I really believe that inning set up all by Ronnie Belliard. Hustling right from the first leadoff hitter. He beats out an infield single, then he tags up when the ball's hit the center field. Rowan got it in, but not in time. And he set it up, so he's had a pretty good series, although Rowan driving in both runs last night for the Tribe.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to Sizemore. Yeah, it was Ronnie Belliard who brought him to within 3-2 in the 13th inning yesterday. But the Indians falling yesterday, and that's why they are 1 back. Sizemore 0 for 2 in this one, but man, has he been huge for Cleveland. Juan Gonzalez going down with the injury. Sizemore, who was ticketed for AAA. We're looking at a .292 hitter with 22 home runs. Upstairs, 2-2. John Garland has a history, at least this year, Rick, of cruising through the first 4 innings and then stumbling a bit in the 5th, and that's exactly what's happening here.
Well, trying to get out of this inning with just the 1 run. They'll be in good shape, but these 2 guys have locked up, and it's whoever gets the key hit.
On 2-2, Ozuna backpedaled. And he dropped it. A foul ball. The inning continues. It was very close to being fair, in which case it would have been 2-0.
Well, going back out there, the shadows now creeping in. The light tower is coming on to the playing surface. He's not looking into the sun. He just misplayed that ball. And the shadows come back down, and he just closed his glove too early. Looked like it hit him in the heel, and that's got to be an error on Ozuna. So the second error in the inning on the White Sox, and normally a very good fielding team. We now have 94 on the season.
It's been a forgettable, regrettable last 8 or 9 minutes here for Pablo Ozuna. That 2-strike bunt, and now the error. The breathing new life, 2-2 count. Sizemore lifting it to left. Coming on. Glowed, last night's hero offensively. Makes a deep
in the inning. A 2-out hit by Graffinino. Stole second. The inning ends as Damon grounds out. Off we go to the 5th. Yankees will bat. They lead Boston 6-2. Welcome back to Fenway Park. While we were checking in with the game in Cleveland, plenty happened here, even though no runs crossed the plate for the Red Sox. As the top of the order, Derek Jeter leads off, grounds 1 to 3rd. Good pickup on a short hop by Miller. Jeter grounds out 5-3.
Terrific play by Bill Miller. Reading the hop, very important for any infielder, and Miller immediately read the short hop. Momentary juggle and just got Derek Jeter. Fine play by Bill.
Charged it, didn't lay back, and made the play to start the inning. In the bottom of the 4th, while we were checking in with the Cleveland game, Mirabelli flied out, then Trot Nixon hit a ball down the right field line. Sheffield, bad quad and all, made a terrific catch to save an extra base hit. And Graffinino followed with a single, stole a base. Damon battled, but eventually grounded out to second. And it's still 6-2. Here's that Sheffield catch. Realize this guy missed 17 games playing right field because of that leg injury, and you'd never know it.
And Gary's made 2 good plays. One going to his right to right center, one going toward the line.
He also has a 2-run home run, which came in the 1st. 6-2 New York. On the inside corner from Wakefield, and the count 0-2 on Alex Rodriguez. Our Pepsid Power Hitters home run leaderboard. Right now the leaders, Andrew Jones leads Major League Baseball with 51. Ortiz and Rodriguez tied at 47. Log on to foxsports.com, keyword Pepsid, for your chance to win the Pepsid Complete Ultimate Sports Fan Experience. Play the Pepsid Power Hitters Home Run Derby. There's a shot into left field. You want power hitters. A-Rod goes deep all the way out onto Lansdowne Street. Home run number 48, and he leads the American League. Third home run allowed by Wakefield in 4 1/3. 7-2, the Yankees on top here in the 5th.
When it's high, let it fly. A high knuckleball. And Terry Francona, one would think, would have to be thinking about getting a left-hander in the ball game.
Well, we talked to Terry Francona, as I mentioned, and because we checked in with Cleveland, we may not get a chance to play the interview for you. But at the end of the interview, Terry Francona said everybody is available today. And they have action in their bullpen right now. It looks like Stanton, who was just added from the Washington Nationals. Mike Stanton, who's getting ready, picked up 2 nights ago for 2 low minor leaguers. Really, with an eye on this series, that's it. He would not be eligible to be on a postseason roster if the Red Sox get to the postseason.
It's an odd time, but a shrewd move as long as the rules allow it. But an odd time to bring in one pitcher for one series. Showing up in the middle of the game on Thursday evening against Toronto.
I like Theo Epstein's comment, though. He said if we didn't do it because it's somewhat embarrassing to make the move and something like this could pay off, we'd never forgive ourselves.
Sure.
So let people say what they want. We have an extra left-hander with the Yankees and guys like Giambi and Matsui and others coming in. Why not, Adam?
Absolutely.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Giambi stays up there. So the Indians with their 1-0 lead. There's Theo Epstein. The Yankees trying to win here today to, at the very worst, with all the different scenarios, force a 1-game playoff Monday at Yankee Stadium. That's hit right into the defense. Graffinino out in shallow right, cranks up his arm and throws out Giambi, 2 down.
You're scoring at home 9-3 on the putout.
The matchup tomorrow would be Schilling and Messina. Good matchup, and 2 guys who are obviously veteran right-handers, and I would say each side would be hard-pressed to predict what they're going to get out of their starter for tomorrow.
Messina with elbow problems, his right elbow nagging for the last 2.5 months, and of course well chronicled is Curt Schilling's story.
Coming back, the closer for a while, back into the rotation. Not effective his last time out against Toronto. But his season, regular season, will close with a start tomorrow against the Yankees. Messina couldn't get through 2 at Baltimore his last time out. Went an inning and 2/3, allowed 5 runs on 7 hits in what was a 17-9 loss.
Schilling, on the other hand, his best start of the year against the Yankees on September 10th. He won 7-2.
There's a strike to Sheffield. It's 2-2. Sheffield has hit a 2-run home run and grounded out. He's made 2 good plays in right. And with 2 out, nobody on, he got a good rip. So just to repeat, if the Indians lose at home today, the winner of this game will assure themselves of a playoff spot, and if it's the Yankees winning, they win the American League East, provided Cleveland loses. Right now they lead 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th at home over the White Sox. 2-2 to Sheffield is hammered foul.
I think this is the last batter for Tim Wakefield. You have Hideki Matsui and Robinson Cano, 2 left-handed batters, and one would think if Sheffield gets on, you're certainly going to bring in Stanton. And if Sheffield makes the last out, then you bring in Stanton to start the 6th inning.
How good was that catch down the left field line by that young lady down there? She saved somebody some serious dental bills. That's Kelly Barons.
Oh, it is.
The lefty up here at Fenway.
Pick it.
2-2. I mean, this is a serious grab. Moves well to her left, reaches high, pulls it in, and hands the baseball to a little girl. She had no trouble picking the ball up off the bat with the shadows. She should be playing center. 2-2 pitch. Popped up on the infield, and Bill Miller hauls it in. Alex Rodriguez, home run number 48. Is he the American League MVP? Is it David Ortiz? He's due up second in the bottom of the fifth. It's 7-2 New York. Fox Saturday Baseball sponsored by AmeriQuest Mortgage, proud sponsor of the American Dream. By XM Satellite Radio with live play-by-play of Major League Baseball games for every team all season long. By the makers of Pepcid Complete, just one, and heartburn's done. 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Red Sox, trying to do something about this 7-2 New York lead. That means Renteria, Ortiz, and Manny Ramirez. Anybody gets on Millar against Randy Johnson. Renteria pops it up down the right side. That ball might stay in play. It will, and it's Sheffield there for out number 1. And Renteria is 0 for 3.
Yeah, that was a very big out with the big guns for the Red Sox coming up, Ortiz and Ramirez.
Talked about David Ortiz and him being the DH. No player who was primarily a DH has won an MVP. His numbers right now, he's number 2 in the home run department, number 1 in the RBI category. He's had one big hit after another. You can go back to last year for that.
Last 2 years.
Last year during October had 3 extra inning game-winning hits. He rolls one to the first baseman Martinez here. He's 1 for 3 with a double, 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th, and Randy Johnson needs a quick inning.
The one thing I have noticed, regardless of whom you think is going to be the MVP, the one thing I've noticed is that the Boston Red Sox have made a concerted effort from a publicity campaign to promote David Ortiz, and the Yankees surprisingly haven't. I'm really shocked at the way the Yankees have handled the MVP publicity concerning Alex Rodriguez.
Well, if you talk to Rodriguez, and he said it the other day when the question was asked, he said, I've got an MVP.
Right.
I want what Ortiz has, and that is the ring. And Ortiz wouldn't trade it for anything.
Nope.
And he's as big a reason why, shilling and all, last year that the Red Sox celebrated with that 4-game sweep over St. Louis. After coming back down 3 games to nothing to the New York Yankees in the ALCS. Matsui is coming up. He's homered today. 6th inning. 7-2 Yankees on top. Only the shadow knows here at Fenway Park. One of our camera operators, that shadow looms large here in Boston. And right in the middle of that diamond is Mike Stanton, a left-hander who was released by the Yankees on July 1st. He ended up with Washington and was traded to the Red Sox a couple of nights ago for 2 low-level minor leaguers with an eye on this series. And he comes into the game with Matsui, Cano, and Martinez coming up. Here's a guy in Stanton that's been involved in 53 postseason games. He's 5-2 with a 2.10 ERA, and was such a big part of the Yankees' success in the late 90s, coming out of the bullpen, helping to set up for Rivera.
Just like he was a big part of the Atlanta Braves bullpen in the early 90s. He has had a dazzling career.
1-0 pitch to Matsui, who homered his last time up. You could zip. It counts 1-1. Matsui hit the ball literally off the top of the wall in center field his last time up, and it bounced back into that hitter's backdrop to, at the time, make it 6-2. A-Rod went deep in the 5th. It's 7-2. Here's a 1-1. Strike 2. So just to clean up and to try to make it more understandable, I will do my best and realize that I'm really not all that intelligent, so I'll try to work my way through it. But if Cleveland loses, the question would be asked, I'm sure, why do the Yankees, if they win the division? Well, they would have a 2-game lead, the Yankees would, over the Indians. So forget that threat to the Yankees, if you will, on the part of the Indians with 1 game to go tomorrow. even if the Red Sox win tomorrow, should the Yankees win today, and again, this is with Cleveland losing, the two would end up with identical records, but it would be a one-game lead going into tomorrow. Wild card wise for the Red Sox, if they win tomorrow and beat the Yankees, the Indians are eliminated from the wild card chase. The Yankees and the Red Sox have the same record, and then you go to head-to-head matchups, and the Yankees would win the division by virtue of their head-to-head games that they've played this season. They would not play, in essence, a one-game playoff to determine which of the two teams is the division winner and which of the two teams is the wild card winner, as Cano gets out of the way of strike one.
Both teams have played 19 games this year. If the Yankees win today, they will have won 10 of the 19.
So that's that. But there's still the possibility out there with Cleveland winning out that these three teams could end up with the same record. And if that is the case, then it really gets interesting. And we'll go through what happens then after Cano does something here with one out. And he grounds one up the middle. Graffinino, nice play to his right, throws late. And it's a one-out infield single for Cano, who's now 1 for 3. If Boston, the Yankees, and the Indians all end up with the same record, Boston plays at New York for the AL East on Monday, and the loser of that game would be between either Cleveland and the Yankees or Cleveland and the Red Sox. Those two would play for the wild card. And if it's Cleveland and the Yankees, they play at Cleveland. And if it's Cleveland and Boston, they play here at Fenway Park on Tuesday.
Yes, if all three in the season tied, then the Yankees or the Red Sox would have to win 2 straight in 2 different cities to win and to be in the postseason.
1 on, 1 out, and a ball 0 away.
Actually 3 different cities, because after it would be determined in Boston, they'd go to New York to play the game, and then either Boston or New York goes to Cleveland, and then the winner of that game goes to wherever they open the playoffs.
That's on the outside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike. But whoever would win on Monday would be the division winner between the Red Sox and the Yankees.
That's correct. Right.
So then they're safe and sound, and then the loser of that game takes on Cleveland to determine which of the two clubs is the wild card. And Cano's picked off. Throw down to second. It'll go down as a caught stealing. 1-3-6. 2 out, nobody on.
Robinson Cano not really at a disadvantage because Mike Stanton started the season with the New York Yankees. And Cano, being a second baseman, has seen this move before.
So now with the bases empty, 2 down, Tino Martinez waits for a 1-1 and takes low, 2-1. It's virtually impossible to explain that whole situation without making it more confusing. Or at least confusing sounding than it really is.
Yeah, you can take your time explaining it, and it still is very, very confusing.
With 2 out, nobody on, Martinez takes down and in, 3-1. So I did my best.
Thought you did very well.
Thank you. Top of the 7th inning, and the Indians still lead the White Sox. Might be action happening in Cleveland right now, as Martinez grounds to short, picked up by Renteria, and Stanton has a good debut for the Red Sox. What's going on with the Indians and White Sox? For more on that, we go back to Jacobs Field. Josh Lewin and Rick Manning.
Not a thing you can do about it. Runner is going to come in from third base.
Again, we welcome those of you watching the Red Sox, and the Yankees have at it. Pablo Ozuna, who last time up with a chance to cash in, was bunting on his own, and it did not go well. This time with 2 strikes on him, a Baltimore chop infield base hit, and this is a 1-1 game in the 7th inning. 2 on, still just 1 out. Jake Westbrook still pitching very efficiently and very well. Perez turns on 1 and fouls it.
He has, but he's given up 7 of the 8 hits in the last 3 innings.
All 8 hits, by the way, Rick, have been singles. And there have been a couple of double plays turned. He is in large favor of getting to third right here, right now. Bobby Howry in the bullpen. In the air, though, again. 0-2, the count to Perez. And on deck, you've got Iguchi, good contact hitter.
Well, you did mention that Westbrook 0-3 in his career, or this season against the White Sox, making his 5th start.
2 on, 1 out. And the 0-2 is it. Perez, remember, was at the plate in the 5th and rocketed one near second base. Ronnie Belliard got on the trampoline, went up, grabbed it, turned it into a double play. Up and outside, 2-2 the count with 2 on in what is now a 1-1 game in the 7th inning. Again, we won't overwhelm you with all the permutations. What could happen if indeed the Red Sox lose. The Indians don't absolutely have to win this one today, but it would sure make things a lot easier.
Yeah, if they like their odds, their back is against the wall.
Perez rips it to right. Blake has got it. And that'll be the 2nd out of the inning. That is actually the 4th time today that Perez has nailed a baseball somewhere. He's got a 1 out of 4 to show for it.
That's the old Adam ball. Sometimes you hit it right out and they say come in, hang with them. Well, there's one that Westbrook got away, left it up in the strike zone. It was a line drive, but right into the track of Casey Blake. So they get their 2nd out, but they still have an opportunity to take a lead with a runner in scoring position here.
And the Japanese import Tadahito Iguchi 0 for 3. Another first pitch strike from Jake Westbrook, which I think, Rick, has kept the fans from doing too much hand-wringing. I mean, it kind of makes them clap, makes them do something.
Well, they've been like this for the last couple of days, sitting on the edge of their seats.
In the air, center field, backpedaling Sizemore at the track to the wall. It's gone. Two out, 3-run homer, Tadahito Iguchi. And a sock to the stomach of these fans here in Cleveland.
Well, and Westbrook.
Well, the question is, was there a louder cheer with either the White Sox fans or fans of the Yankees and the Red Sox watching that ball get over the wall in center field? What you missed while you were away, if you couldn't see in that teeny tiny little box, was this. A nasty slider from Randy Johnson. And the count goes to 0-2. This, Sam, I was going to say, if we came back starting the inning, this is where the Red Sox have got to try and make something happen. Now that, not that they haven't up to this point, but if you're dealing with a deep bullpen for the Yankees, where they are willing to pitch Rivera for more than 1 inning, and Tom Gordon, who's been lights out of late, this is that swing inning right now in the 6th where you've got to get something done.
Yeah, and your 6th, 7th, and 8th place hitters have taken an offer against Randy Johnson, a.k.a. Andy Johnson.
Either way. It's only going to the Hall of Fame.
No, right.
Come on.
But 6, 7, and 8 hitters for the Red Sox. 0 for 5 on the day. Make that 0 for 6.
That's strike 3, and Randy Johnson gets a called 3rd strike. 6 strikeouts on the day for Randy Johnson. In case you're just joining us, our game summary: Sheffield and Ramirez with 2-run shots in the 1st. A-Rod hit his 48th in the 5th inning. That takes over the AL lead for home runs during the season. And the Yankees, when they score 7 or more runs this season, that record 46-3 because of their bullpen and the back end of that bullpen in particular. With 2 out, a strike on the inside corner to Mirabelli. One ball, one strike. Randy Johnson got through the second inning. And I mean, he just got through it. He walked a couple. He had given up a hit. He ended up striking out the side, but the home plate umpire was under his skin. He eventually struck out Edgar Renteria to end the threat, and the Yankees have taken over since then. Our comparison of today's starters and their strike percentage is sponsored by AutoZone. Tim Wakefield lasting only 5 innings today. Up and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Mirabelli. After that second, after he got through that second inning, Randy Johnson has settled in.
Yeah, in that second inning, there were 6 hitters up. Only 1 made contact. That was Graffinino. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. All the problems with the home plate umpire, Gary Darling, have seemed to disappear.
That's foul. So the Yankees, with what's going on in Cleveland right now, could be on their way to their 8th straight division title today.
Yep.
Which then the question will be asked of Joe Torre. Messina, bad elbow. Would he bother to make the start tomorrow afternoon here at Fenway Park, or would you rest him? 2-2 pitch. Foul tip, and Mirabelli stays up there. But that's getting way ahead of ourselves. A game only in the bottom of the 6th, and this #1 offense the Boston Red Sox have, best in the American League. The team hitting .281. Try to get something, anything going against Johnson. Eventually Gordon and Rivera today. Mirabelli went, and the inning is over. Randy Johnson strikes out the side for the 2nd time today, and he does it ending the 6th. 7th inning, 7-2 New York. Back to Boston after this from your local Fox station. Jeremy Gonzalez is the 3rd pitcher of the day for Boston. Wakefield went 5, 7 runs, 7 hits. Stanton 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Now Gonzalez with the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Williams, Flaherty, and Jeter scheduled for New York. Bernie Williams hit a key double back in the 2nd inning, which led to 2 runs. The numbers this season for Gonzalez. On the inside corner, a ball and a strike. So the top of the 7th, the Yankees leading it by 5. There's another strike. It's 1-2. 5-time Cy Young Award winner Randy Johnson, number 3 on the all-time strikeout list, persevered and got through the first 2 innings. He struck out 7 on the day and has a 5-run lead here in the 7th. That's into right center, and a diving catch by Nixon for the out. And Johnny Damon was his biggest cheerleader with his arms raised as Nixon made a great play to his right.
Great play, and perhaps the best jump on any ball that we've seen this afternoon. Think about it. If Trot Nixon were a right-handed thrower, he probably can't make that play. But being a left-handed thrower, it's easier, and a terrific play by Trot Nixon. That was good.
And so with 1 out, here is Flaherty, who's out in front of that pitch from Gonzalez. Strike 1. Bottom of the 7th inning, the White Sox leading 4-1 at Cleveland. 13-inning affair last night. White Sox won it over the Indians. There's a fly ball into left field. Back is Ramirez. On the track. 2 out. Chris Myers is standing by. Chris.
Joe, I know you're a big movie buff. I was in the Yankee clubhouse before the game, and they had the big screen going. They watch a movie when they're here in Boston. They had Gladiator on last night. The movie today was We Were Soldiers, the Mel Gibson war movie, and I asked Coach Luis Sojo, the players watching it for motivation or inspiration. He said the noise. No, we have it cranked up, so we're used to the noise of the craziness here with the fans at Fenway. But so far, the Yankee bats have kind of silenced the surround sound here in Boston.
Yeah, it was deafening, the sound in that clubhouse. The stereo speakers in the visiting clubhouse here at Fenway are terrific. I'm going to guess they're better than they were in 1978 when these two teams played in a one-game playoff. The Bucky Dent home run.
I would think that's true. Another Mel Gibson movie could have been the selection of Braveheart.
Thank you, Mr. Ebert. With 2 out, up and in, 2-0. Two balls, no strikes. 2 out, nobody on. It's not what you said, it's how you said it. Jeter has a hit today and a sac fly. He scored a run. He's 1 for 2. And he takes ball 3 with Alex Rodriguez on deck. Three and 1. With 2 out, Jeter takes strike 2.
I'm not sure if the crowd present here at Fenway really thought about the ramifications of today's game. If Cleveland loses, then the Red Sox enter tomorrow's game, even if they lose today, 1 game ahead of Cleveland, guaranteeing that they will play at least Monday at the very worst.
That's right. And that would be here at Fenway. There's strike 3 over the inside corner as Gonzalez comes back to get Jeter looking after running the count to 3-0. Nobody knows what to do. Everybody's standing around. That's the 3rd strike and the 3rd out. It's time to go to the bottom of the 7th. 7-2 New York. Gorgeous day in a great city, and Fox Saturday Baseball sponsored by Quiznos. Try Quiznos new Cabo Chicken Sub at participating Quiznos. By Prudential Financial. Choose Prudential Financial to help you grow and protect your wealth. And by Goodyear Forterra. Tough on the outside, soft on the inside. Randy Johnson has retired the last 7. Make it 8. Trot Nixon going after the first pitch is the first out here in the bottom of the 7th. And with 1 down, Graffinino will be the hitter. Tomorrow on Fox NFL Sunday, we'll break down the Giants' Eli Manning and explain his evolution into a top quarterback. Plus, we'll introduce you to the NFL's leading rusher, Bucs rookie Cadillac Williams. Plus, Jeremiah Trotter goes 10 yards with TB before the Eagles take on the Chiefs. Fox NFL Sunday begins tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Graffinino takes strike 1. Let's go back to what we said at the beginning of the day. Something else we said at the beginning of the day. As Graffinino hits one into left, that ball won't be caught. It is gone for a home run. Graffinino goes deep. And that makes it 7-3. Yankees on top. Graffinino is 3 for 3. And Randy Johnson has just given up his 2nd home run of the day. Third base umpire is Mark Wegner. And he believes that got over that red stripe on top of the monster.
I think that's what Joe Torre and Alex Rodriguez are talking to Mark about that right now. If it gets over the red stripe, it's a home run. I think Mark thought, I mean, they're going to get help on this.
That's a home run.
It did. That's a home run. Right on the padding above the red stripe. So that will not be reversed. That was a good call by Mark Wegner, and a very tough call, too. We had to wait for the replay to see how clear it was, and as you can see, the ball hit above the red stripe. Home run, Graffinino.
So Randy Johnson continues to climb up that list, the list he wants no part of, and that is home runs allowed during a season by a Yankee. He's already the top left-hander, giving up 32 this season. Count goes to 2-0 on Damon in the bullpen for the Yankees as Tom Gordon getting loose. There's a strike. We started to say about Randy Johnson, they got Randy Johnson, the Yankees did, to win a game like they're playing today.
That's right.
Forget the regular, forget what's happened up until today, October 1st.
Which
game
was
number
pretty
161,
good.
which was good. Not great.
Right.
Good.
Good. Pretty good.
But they got Randy Johnson for games like these. And he has done his part getting into the 7th and right now leading by 4, which against a Red Sox team, the way they hit, it is certainly not out of the realm of possibility that the Red Sox make some noise and get back in this. You got the top of the order up, 1 out, nobody on, and now 2 out as Damon becomes the 8th strikeout victim for Randy Johnson.
Wicked slider to get Johnny Damon. Keep in mind, too, what the Red Sox did last fall, coming back to win 8 in a row in the postseason. 4 against the Yankees, 4 against the Cardinals. You have to take solace in that. You may not be able to rely on it all the time. And it might have been an aberration, might have been a once-in-a-100-year spectacle, but they did it with this group of teammates.
Cleveland's made it a 2-run game. It's 4-2 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Renteria backs out, now gets back in with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. That misses. It's 2-1. You also have to consider the job that Terry Francona has done managing this group yet again. Popped up down the right field line. Sheffield with the jog to get it. And the inning is over. Talk more about Francona in the 8th as we go there. 7-3 New York on top. DHL game break. Here's Jeannie Zelasco and Kevin Kennedy in the Fox Network Center.
Yes, indeed, it's the DHL game break, sponsored by DHL, delivering America's pastime on time. Time running out on the regular season, so who's your pick for AL MVP? Might be decided this weekend. Both boys in the same house, Kevin.
Well, you know, both guys have equal numbers here offensively, but I think defense has to count for something. A-Rod has played great defense this year. He's stolen some bases. But there's other candidates,
what about
Jeannie.
this guy?
Yeah, Gary Sheffield, 123 RBIs. That's 5th in the American League. 34 home runs. Gets the Yankees on the board early, Jeannie.
What about this guy?
How about Manny Ramirez? Both guys hitting behind the 2 leading MVP candidates. Manny Ramirez gets the Red Sox close to the 2-run home run, but Randy Johnson, a big strikeout in the 2nd inning with the bases loaded at Renteria. Oh, there's A-Rod.
Alex Rodriguez. This would just be home run number 48 on the season, in case you're counting.
Just a minor year for A-Rod. Don't discount that when he hits his home runs, yes, not only in the 8th inning, but they do put your team ahead usually most of the time.
All right, keeping an eye on what's going on in Cleveland as well. The Tribe needing desperately to win today.
Offense, Iguchi, 15 home runs, 71 RBIs. John Garland threw a good ball game, but the bullpen is in there right now. It's Vizcaíno, and the Indians are coming back in a huge game.
4 for your scores. We sit bottom 7 in the AL playoff scenario again.
Explain this, Jeannie. You do it.
Cleveland needs to lose, and then someone today at Fenway will feel pretty good. They have a piece of at least the postseason. For the Red Sox, it would mean, of course, the wild card.
Right.
But for the Yankees, it's division. And, of course, it's up to Roger Clemens today to take care of business for Houston. This has been the DHL Game Break, sponsored by DHL.
Fox Saturday Baseball, sponsored by DHL, delivering America's pastime on time. Fenway Park, 8th inning. Jeremy Gonzalez back to work. Alex Rodriguez, Jason Giambi, and Sheffield coming up. Yankees leading by 4. Rodriguez, a home run his last time up. He's 2 for 3. During our DHL game break, Jeannie told us that the Indians are coming back now down 1 run as they play the White Sox. If the Indians win that game, then nothing will be settled before the final day with this trio of teams.
You can imagine the fans here at Fenway going from the action on the field to the action of the scoreboard. Perhaps one of the reasons for their reticence and their quietness, because they see the Cleveland Indians pecking away and coming back from a 4-1 deficit, now 4-3.
They're still going in the bottom of the 7th. That ball's out of play off to the right. And Alex Rodriguez in the hole, 1-2.
I asked a kidding question of Joe Torre before the game. I said, is this fun? And he jumped all over me and you. No, it's not fun. Are you kidding? Fun? You think this is fun? He said, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad we're here. But fun? It's excruciating.
Said you don't get paid the kind of money I get paid for fun. The 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Rodriguez has hit the most home runs for the Yankees since 1961, when Maris had his 61 and Mantle had 54. Most in franchise history by a right-handed batter, as that pitch is in the dirt. Full count. Top of the 8th inning, 7-3, New York out in front. If Cleveland comes back and wins that game, the Yankees end up hanging on and winning this game. The one thing the Yankees will have done is at least, at the worst, force a one-game playoff at Yankee Stadium on Monday against Boston. That's another rocket off the bat of Alex Rodriguez. Played off the wall by Damon. He floats it back in, and Rodriguez has a double. Single, double, and a home run today for Alex Rodriguez. So a good start to the 8th inning for New York. And that's our Diet Pepsi fan camp.
Well, everybody hurts, but sometimes everybody cries.
The tones of Michael Stipe and REM. Everybody hurts, but it's only game number 161. There's one to go tomorrow, and this one isn't over. Tim Russerdahl smiles with his grease board nearby, I'm sure. It's a leadoff double for Alex Rodriguez. It's a pitching change.
It's one of the most depressing fan cams of the year.
It really is.
I mean, everybody hurts. My gosh. Oh.
Big REM fan, are you? 7-3. Yankees on top. Pitching change. Lenny DiNardo takes over and chases Giambi off the plate with his first pitch in the top of the 8th inning. Is he checking for typos?
No, he's reading a book entitled Everybody Hurts.
I wonder if it's his own.
Which, paraphrased, is more of the titles of his books.
There's a strike on the inside. All right, enough, Michael Stipe. I just can't handle that. Turn it off. Oh. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Talk about excruciating.
And it's just that particular song.
Yeah, yeah.
Now DiNardo's going to get a visit. And we go for a game break. Let's go to Jeannie Zelasco.
We're taking you to Cleveland, where Kevin Kennedy and I have been enjoying the madness here. And also the work of John Garland, who got it done, and Mr. Marte fending off the Tribe. They still have a 4-3 lead.
4-3 lead for the Chicago White Sox. Here it is 7-3. The Yankees, top of the 8th. And A-Rod gets back. They love what DiNardo is doing. Made a spot start this season. In fact, there was some talk that if Arroyo has to be used either today or tomorrow, it could have been DiNardo in the Monday playoff game at Yankee Stadium between these two teams. Now they're leaning toward Clement. So DiNardo gets a chance out of the bullpen here in the 8th inning with his team down by 4. And Giambi now in the hole, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And if you're a Red Sox fan, you will know that Terry Francona initially said that Bronson Arroyo could start that game on Monday, but now he is in the bullpen.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Giambi. Runner at second, nobody out, and Giambi takes it just high. 2-2. We started to talk about the job Francona's done. If you think about the arms that they leaned on, the Red Sox last year to win the World Series, and what they've had to work with this year. Here's a 2-2. Giambi fouls it. Curt Schilling hasn't been the same, obviously. Keith Folk is finished for the year and was not much of a factor except early in the year. He's had knee surgery now, so he's finished for the rest of the season. Pedro Martinez is gone and Derek Lowe is gone. Now they've picked up Wells, and he's been a nice addition. He was the winner last night. And Clement, who was very good in the first half but has really tapered off here in the second half, just as he did last year with Chicago. That pitch almost grazed Giambi, and it's full count.
Thing about the Red Sox, where would they be without Boomer? David Wells has won 15 games. Matt Clement, as you said, after a superb start, an all-star pitcher, has won only 4 games since early July.
Giambi strikes out, 1 away.
Looked like a slider. No, it was a fast. No, it was a slider. Sometimes it's difficult to tell slider from fastball. You have to wait until the finish of the pitch. That ball moving away from Giambi. Good pitch by Leonardo.
Your opinion changing during that pitch was probably the same thing that was going through the mind of Giambi.
That's right. That's right. I thought it was a fastball.
No?
Oh, no, it's a slider. Most of the time they're about the same speed. That's why.
It's an intentional pass being handed to Sheffield to put 2 on with 1 out and bring up the left-handed hitting Matsui. And if you want to start a sentence with, and these two teams are playing, where would this team be without? How about the Yankees? Where would they be without Sean Chacon, who's 7-3, 3-0 his last 3 starts and a 0.4 ERA, and then Small, who's 10-0, 33-year-old right-hander who's been with 6 teams since 1994.
Left fielder, number 55, Hideki.
Take those 2 guys out of the mix, along with Chin-Ming Wong, who pitched last night, ended up being tagged with the loss, but what he's provided this team this season, and those are clearly 3 unexpected sources that when the season started with a payroll over $200 million, you wouldn't think they need to lean on guys like that.
Those 3 starters for minimal money, 25-8 for the Yankees.
2 on, 1 out here from Matsui. Off the end of the bat, up the middle. Renteria keeps it on the infield. Everybody's safe as he flipped it backhand to Graffinino, and Graffinino wasn't on the bag.
I think the throw, it's going to be a base hit for Hideki Matsui. Great play by Edgar Renteria, and then trying to barehand the ball that pulled Graffinino off the bag.
Number 22, Robinson.
And Sheffield hustling into second base gets a hit for Matsui.
So that loads the bases, and Robinson Cano stands in.
Here's another guy, pardon me, Joe, but Robinson Cano making the minimum, a rookie, and those 3 pitchers, perhaps of the money that those 4 players are making, it's not even 1% of the Yankee payroll. Not even 1%.
And here lately, even Bubba Crosby has been a nice addition.
Game-winning home run about 10 days ago.
No balls, 1 strike on Cano. Bases loaded, 1 out. Ground ball to the shortstop, Renteria. Can't get anybody. A run scores, and there's still only 1 out.
I think Terry Francona is going to argue that Matsui went out of the baseline to avoid the tag. but still, had Renteria come up and thrown immediately to first base, then he does get his man. But that momentary delay and then the throw, no chance. Did Matsui go out of the baseline to avoid the tag? Yes, he did. That was a bad call on second base umpire Paul Nart.
So Francona has a point there. That's why Renteria was kind of caught in no man's land. He was going for the tag, trying for a tag throw double play, and Matsui went out of the baseline to avoid that tag, even ran onto the grass.
Yeah, that's pretty clear right there. And I'm surprised that, you know, if you're going to get help on the home run ball that was hit by Graffinino, you should get help from the first base umpire, because often he'll have a better angle of that play because he's in line like Terry Francona was from the Boston dugout. But Matsui was clearly out of the baselines, and the Red Sox did not get the call. That was a bad call.
So the run scores to make it 8-3, still only one out. And I agree with you, and I think Francona's got to take the other tact here and start asking for help on that call.
Yeah. Your first base umpire really has the shot down the line, whereas the second base umpire is between the pitcher's mound and second base, and often would not have as good a view as the first base umpire.
So the game comes to a stop while Terry Francona pleads his case, and it doesn't look like he has any shot of winning this argument, as now Larry Poncino, the first base umpire, is involved. But if that's not going out of the baseline, what is? Matsui was on the grass.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the key. When you run that far into the grass to avoid the tag, you should be called out.
Still a run would have scored. There's only one out in the inning.
Right.
First baseman.
But now it's 8-3, bases loaded, and only one out. And here's that play again.
I think that's what Renteria perhaps was thinking, that if I throw the ball right now, then I'm going to get the double play. Feeling or knowing that Matsui had run out of the baseline.
Now Dave Wallace is going to jog out. He's the pitching coach for Terry Francona. DiNardo is in a bases loaded one-out situation. The left-handed hitting Martinez is at the plate. So while they have a conference, let's check in again with Jeannie Zalasko.
2 on, 1 out for A.J. Pierzynski in Cleveland. The catcher hits into the double play. As we stand right now, the White Sox clinging to that 4-3 lead, bottom 8.
How about the Chicago White Sox? Their last playoff appearance was in the 2000 LDS. They lost to Seattle. They have 2 World Series titles, the last one coming in 1917. Look at that bottom line. Have not won a postseason series since 1917. There's a pitch down and away to Martinez, ball 1.
Really, the White Sox haven't had much of an opportunity to get to postseason play.
The 1-0. Martinez out in front of it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tino today has a hit, 1 for 3, and a run scored.
Chicago White Sox up over the Cleveland Indians 15 games on August 1st.
Lead got down to a game and a half. Popped up behind home plate. Mirabelli out number 2. And now it's Bernie Williams walking to the plate. So DiNardo comes in after Gonzalez allows a leadoff double, strikes out Giambi. They walk Sheffield. Infield hit by Matsui. The fielder's choice RBI off the bat of Cano, and now the foul out. Here's Bernie Williams. How about his numbers in this situation? 2 out, runners in scoring position. Bernie is hitting .322. Out in front of that pitch, couldn't hold up, strike 1. Most people believe he is playing his final season in a Yankee uniform.
Nice to see the Yankee crowds. The last time the Yankees were at in New York fondly cheering Bernie Williams over and over again that last game he played.
Bases loaded, 2 down. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Some guys never have an opportunity to feel that affection from the crowd to them before they leave. A guy like Pedro Martinez, who did so much for this franchise for a long period of time. The fans really had no opportunity to show the affection that they felt for Pedro and the great job he did for the Red Sox.
On the heels of that display for Bernie Williams, Derek Jeter saying, well, this won't be his last time at Yankee Stadium, because at the time he said, we will be in the playoffs. Today could go a long way toward that. Up 8-3 in the 8th inning. A 2-1. 2-2. The Red Sox in the bottom of the 8th inning will have the heart of their lineup to the plate. And Tom Gordon is getting loose as if he's coming in. Randy Johnson well up over 100 pitches, up over 110. And if his day is finished, he gave the Yankees what they needed. 7 innings. He allowed 3 runs on 5 hits. Bernie Williams strikes out, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. David Ortiz first up for Boston. Trying to get it going. Fox Saturday Baseball sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone. By Right Guard Extreme. Get extreme. Get Right Guard. And by Chevy. Chevy and baseball, they just go together. An American Revolution. How about Randy Johnson going back out for at least another batter? David Ortiz takes a strike. Joe Torre not wanting Ortiz to face the right-hander Gordon. Not taking the chance that a rally could start with something Ortiz does, and David Ortiz is in the hole 0-2. David is 1 for 3. He struck out, doubled, and grounded out.
Nobody in baseball has that inimitable style of David Ortiz. Spitting into his glove. Normally he spits and hits.
Grounds to the right side. Tino Martinez takes it. And we'll see if that's it. That is all for Randy Johnson. And for more on the big left-hander, let's go down to Chris Myers.
Joe, down by the Yankee dugout, something you don't see very often. In between the last few innings, Randy was talking about the shadows playing to his advantage against the hitters, between the sunlight and the shade going to where the plate is, and very active, and wanted to get back out to start this inning and talking with Joe Torre, and he was smiling up and moving around quite a bit.
All right, Chris, a little different than early in this game when he was frustrated by not getting pitches called for strikes by the home plate umpire. He's finished after 7 1/3. He gave the Yankees exactly what they needed today at Fenway. Fox Saturday Baseball sponsored by WebMD, America's health site, by Diet Pepsi, light, crisp, refreshing, and by GMC Trucks and SUVs. We are professional grade. Randy Johnson's line, he goes 7 1/3, allows 3 runs on 5 hits, walked 3, struck out 8, allowed 2 home runs, and gives way to Tom Gordon. This was the formula Joe Torre was hoping for before the game started. Johnson deep into the game, and then get Gordon and Rivera in to try to nail it down. Ramirez at the plate, 1 for 3. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Rivera stretching, and Ramirez had a rip, fouls it off the mask of Flaherty. 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, you brought up a good point while we were at break. We've gone this entire day and haven't talked about the Philadelphia Phillies and what they did last night with Houston losing. They're only a game out in the wild card chase in the National League.
Surprising everybody, and within the next 10 minutes, those two teams, Eastern time, start. The Phillies playing in Washington against the Nationals, and Houston hosting the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs have beaten the Houston Astros 2 in a row.
That's wide. As you see that score at the top of your screen, the White Sox leading by a run, but the Indians have the bases loaded and only one out. Cliff Polite has just taken over for the White Sox in that game. John Olerud in the on-deck circle. Here comes a 2-1 pitch. Over but low, 3-1. .123 pitches thrown today by Randy Johnson. A 3-1 to Ramirez. Full count. On our screen it says end of the 8th, so evidently Polite got out of that bases loaded 1-out situation. And they're in the top of the 9th inning. The White Sox leading still by a run at Cleveland. So again, the Indians having a chance. To this point, not being able to get that key hit. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Manny Ramirez hits it a ton to center field. Bernie Williams will watch it leave. Wow. His second of the day. And that was bigger than the first.
Manny Ramirez has had over 900 feet of home runs today. My goodness.
And now Mel Stottlemyre will come out and talk, and while they talk, we go to Jeannie Zelasco for a game break.
Well, as you mentioned, the Tribe were threatening 1-out bases loading Cleveland. Ronnie Belliard couldn't do a thing, and then Ben Bouchard, last shot, no go, 3 stranded. White Sox ahead 4-3, top 9.
Cliff Polite, the pride of Vianney High in St. Louis, Missouri, coming in to get the White Sox out of trouble in the 8th, but they've got an inning left, and Manny Ramirez leads the league.
That ball went above the batter's eye, did it not?
It did.
I've never seen a ball hit above the batter's eye in this ballpark.
When I say leads the league, I was going to say leads the league in walking after hitting a home run.
Oh, yeah, that's Manny. Manny being Manny. I mean, 2 tenacious home runs by Manny Ramirez this afternoon. My gosh.
That's the 4th time this year he has hit more than 1 home run in a game, and his 43rd time in his career. But he got to see every second of its flight out into center field.
You know, you just can't help but be amused by David Ortiz's comment today in the Boston Globe. He said, Manny's excited now.
Now.
Manny's excited now. They have the phrase here in Boston, that's Manny being Manny, and even placards and signs up, Manny being Manny. When Manny is Manny, Manny can do things that almost no other hitter in baseball can do. And he's done it here this afternoon.
From Washington Heights in New York. And a lethal right-handed hitter. Now the count's gone to 2-2 on Olerud, who's batting for Millar, who was 0 for 3 while he was in there. It's an 8-4 Yankee lead. Bottom of the 8th, 1 out, nobody on. 2 balls, 2 strikes. To the right side, backing up on it is Tino Martinez, and he flips to Gordon, 2 out. So with 2 out and nobody on, Bill Miller will step to the plate. There's some guys that do what Manny Ramirez does on the field, and it gets under the skin of the other team, and somebody's going to get knocked down or flipped. And for some reason, when Manny Ramirez does that kind of stuff, it just comes and goes. It doesn't seem to bother anybody.
I think not only the Red Sox players, the Red Sox fans, but even the opposition understands that that's Manny being Manny, and he's going to do it one way or the other. That's Manny being Manny.
Jason Varitek is in the on-deck circle. He'll be in the lineup tomorrow when these two teams meet.
You're right, though. I mean, there is a wide swath given to Manny Ramirez as far as something that 20 years ago there would be guys drilled, or Manny would be drilled.
Even today.
Yeah, even today. That's right.
With other guys.
Yep. Not as much today as 20 years ago, but you're right. I mean, he would antagonize the opposition, but he doesn't seem to do that.
You don't get the impression, though, that the guy just shows up at the park and goes out there and hits. The guy is a very smart hitter, a guy who works very hard at the craft of hitting, and he is year after year putting up big numbers. Here's a guy, Ramirez, who's had 30 or more doubles, 30 or more home runs, 100 or more RBIs in 8 straight seasons, and that's an all-time major league record.
And the other extracurricular stuff I don't think is done in a mean-spirited way.
Check swing. Miller did not go. Miller is trying to get on base with 2 out to bring Varitek up. And then Rivera or not, this game would get a lot more interesting. In fact, if Miller gets on here, you may see Rivera right now in the 8th. 2-2 pitch. We'll do it again. If that score holds in Cleveland and the Yankees win today, they win the AL East. And on top of that, if that score holds in Cleveland, the Red Sox will have their destiny in their own hands tomorrow when they take the field against Joe Torre's team. A win and they're in. But they would be in as the wild card, even though they would have the same overall record as the Yankees because of their head-to-head matchups.
And they would be in. The Yankees would be in, and the Red Sox would be facing Mike Mussina. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Here's a 2-2. Miller strikes out, and we go to the 9th. Manny Ramirez about 850 feet off his bat 2 times. The shot in the 1st, and this one here in the 8th. It's 8-4. Yankees on top as we go to the 9th here in Boston. Fans, to celebrate the start of the postseason, each playoff team will be hosting a fan rally on Monday, October 3rd. Come out to Rally Monday to root for your favorite team and have a chance to win great prizes. Log on to MLB.com on your team's website for more information. John Olrud takes over at first base as we are in the top of the 9th inning, and Chad Bradford, the signed winding right-hander, will bring it home and deal a strike to John Flaherty. Flaherty first up, then Jeter and Rodriguez. 0-2.
Chad, a knuckle scraper. Say that almost literally. Very, very close, about 6 inches from the ground.
There's sidearm, and then there's that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he sets a new standard. We're in the bottom of the 9th inning now at Cleveland, 4-3. The White Sox still on top. 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning at Fenway. Aaron Boone, Casey Blake, and Grady Sizemore. The 8, 9, and 1 hitters are the scheduled hitters against Bobby Jenks, the closer for the White Sox. Here there's 1 out, nobody on. Jeter up. Rivera still getting loose in the Yankee bullpen with a bottom 3 due up in the order for Boston in the bottom of the 9th. Ball 1 to Jeter. Big day at the plate belongs to Alex Rodriguez, the man on deck, who's 3 out of 4 with a single, double, and homer. Jeter started this game with a hit. Went to third on a hit by Rodriguez and scored on a force-out hit into by Giambi, and then Sheffield went deep. 1 out in the bottom of the 9th at Cleveland. Nobody on, and Blake is up. That's over but low, and the count's 3-0 to Jeter. If the White Sox can get 2 more outs before the Indians get a run and the Yankees hang on and win here, they win the AL East, and the Red Sox have their destiny and their fate in their own hands tomorrow when they take on New York here at Fenway. 3-0 pitch, 3-1. If you go back to 2002, the last 88 games played between these two clubs, it's been split down the middle. 44 wins for each side. They start today, game number 161, with identical records, and tied atop the AL East as Jeter gets a single down the right field line with 1 out in the 9th.
As Jeter is wont to do, he will pepper that right field line, particularly with 2 strikes. Nice play by Trot Nixon to hold Jeter to a single.
And here comes Terry Francona after the single, and we'll see if he's going to make another change. He will. Pitching change for the Red Sox here in the 9th. You can see the shadows have crept almost all the way across the infield. And Craig Hansen will come out of the bullpen for Boston. Their fireballing right-hander from St. John's. Our WebMD Health Update focuses on Red Sox pitcher Keith Folt. Had knee surgery. He is out for the rest of the season. Such a big part of their World Championship in 2004. You can check out your own symptoms at WebMD.com. Two out now in Cleveland, with the White Sox leading by a run, 4-3. Hansen is pitching here with a runner at first and 1 out. So for the day, the Indians are down to their final out. Bobby Jenks against Grady Sizemore. 2 out, nobody on at Jacobs Field. Alex Rodriguez will be the hitter as Craig Hansen, the hard-throwing right-hander, is in the game. 3 months out of college.
Yeah, out of St. John's University. Hard thrower.
And that fly ball means that the White Sox win. They win 4-3 at Cleveland. The Indians continue their stumble down the stretch. It means the Yankees are 3 defensive outs away from their 8th consecutive American League Eastern Division title. And it also means that even if the Red Sox lose here today, tomorrow they take the field with a chance to get into the playoffs with a victory. 1 on, 1 out. Strike 1.
Again, at the very worst, they play Cleveland here on Monday at Fenway Park.
We would like to welcome those of you watching the White Sox and the Indians. The 4-3 win for the Chicago White Sox. I know Josh and Rick were talking about the impact that game and that final has on what's happening here at Fenway Park. The Yankees and Red Sox starting the day tied at 94 and 66. The Yankees winning here They have Mariano Rivera ready for the bottom of the ninth. They have a 4-run lead right now, and if the Yankees hang on and win this game, they win the AL East. Meanwhile, the Red Sox can take the field tomorrow with a chance to get in with a victory over the Yankees, or with a loss and an Indians loss. Or if they lose and the Indians win, they would have a playoff here on Monday. Here's a 2-1. Rodriguez, another hit. Is he locked in?
4 hits on the day, 2 singles, a double, and a home run. Home run number 48 on the season for Alex Rodriguez.
So he leads the American League in that category. And everything he hits is a line drive. Scalded. So now Giambi will bat against Hansen. This is a guy that when the Red Sox drafted him and the Yankees passed on Craig Hansen, they drafted him thinking there was an outside shot that he could help them down the stretch this year. And here he is. He's got electric stuff. And he's introduced into this rivalry between the Yankees and Red Sox, taking over in the top of the ninth with his Red Sox down by 4, and now he deals with Jason Giambi, who has an RBI but does not have a hit today. Runners on at first and second. Ball 1. Still waiting for the guys in the manually operated scoreboard inside the monster to turn that 9 into an F next to the White Sox and Indians score. And when they do, fans of both these teams should be excited. 2 on, 1 out. Giambi is jammed a bit, pops it up, shallow left. Infield fly rule in effect. 2 out. Miller back out to get it. 2 on, 2 out, and Sheffield is coming up.
You'll hear a reaction right now.
They're looking for an F somewhere behind that scoreboard. Somebody hand me an F. They know it's coming.
It's the one before G.
Never anticipated something like this in my life. 2 on, 2 out, and a strike from Hansen. Evidently there is no F, so they just take it down. So there you go.
Okay.
Just a green square.
You'd need too many Fs after all the games.
All the money they made here last year, come on. Who can't afford a few Fs? 1 ball, 1 strike. Gary Sheffield has not only gone deep. There's a guy who missed 17 games in the field because of a quad strain. He's made 2 very good plays out in right, dealing with the shadows around home plate, trying to pick up the baseball. He's done a little bit of everything today. He grounds 1 to third. Miller throws. Off we go into the bottom of the 9th inning. Who's coming up for the Boston Red Sox? We'll see Varitek at some point. 7, 8, 9 hitters are scheduled. Rivera is getting loose. The Yankees so close to another AL East division title. A look at Gary Sheffield, the Chevrolet player of the game. Obviously everything Randy Johnson did on the mound, he was tremendous. And Gary Sheffield hit a 2-run shot in the first inning, set the tone of this game, and made 2 very good defensive catches out in right. 1 to his right, 1 to his left, in recognition of his outstanding play. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Chevy, an American revolution. And Tim, you combine that with what Randy Johnson did. Randy Johnson, 123 pitches on the day. Struggled through that second inning and then just turned it on. Was phenomenal. Exactly what the Yankees needed out of him. On his way to his 17th win. Crosby takes over in center, and Mariano Rivera takes over on the mound.
After that second inning, Randy Johnson allowing only 3 Boston base runners. 2 of those were Tony Graffinino. And Mariano Rivera, in a non-save situation, but when you think about it, it's a save of a season, not a game.
All that the Yankees have been through this year and all that's been made of their payroll, up over $200 million, and injuries and players not living up to expectation, the season that Jason Giambi started and the kind of year he was putting together until he turned it on. And then to get the kind of contribution that they've had from Sean Chacon, a huge pickup by Brian Cashman. Aaron Small. Here's a broken bat pop up to another guy on that list, Cano, and he drops it out in right center field. Out of the shadow and into the light off his glove, and Varitek is on to start the ninth, and the Red Sox say don't celebrate yet, New York.
Red Sox reminding the Yankees once more what happened last fall. A ball that probably will go as a base hit, but should have been caught.
First pitch is strike to Trot Nixon. Mariano Rivera comes into this game rested. He's ready to go more than an inning if needed. Nixon trying to help the Red Sox make it more interesting. That's inside. Red Sox need 2 more base runners to have a chance.
With 2 more base runners, they also guarantee David Ortiz will be at the plate, barring a double play.
Here's a 1-1. Nixon up and after it, 95 miles per hour, strike 2. Varitek on with a leadoff hit, a flare that went off the glove of Cano. Now a 1-2 to Nixon. 2-2. The Red Sox would guarantee themselves a playoff berth with a win here today. 2-2 pitch. Into right field, and Sheffield fights the sun and makes the catch. 1-on-1 out. Pretty well hit by Nixon. Batter will be Graffinino, who's had a perfect day, 3 for 3 at the plate. Again tomorrow, it's Kurt Schilling scheduled for the Red Sox. And at the moment, Mike Messina is the scheduled starter for New York, and that might change depending what happens the rest of this day. If the Yankees win, they wrap up the East, and they may want to rest Messina and save him for the beginning of the division series. Ball 1 low to Graffinino. And that is the case because of that score you saw flash by. And look at Philadelphia with 4 runs in the first inning. And Washington and Houston lead Chicago 1-0. Those are the only other 2 games that matter for the rest of the day in baseball. What a comeback within this year for Jason Giambi. Up and in, 2-1. Yankees for a while early were trying to figure out a way to make Giambi disappear.
Yeah.
And he comes back, to his credit, ironed out some problems, and will end up with at least 32 home runs on the season. Here's a 2-1. 2-2.
Even turning down a minor league assignment back on May 9th. Refused to go to the minor leagues, which was his right. And he was right not doing it. What a lonely climb it's been for Jason Giambi this season.
1-on, 1 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Graffinino pops it up. That'll stay in play for Flaherty and/or Rodriguez. Alex Rodriguez bobbles it but catches it. 2 out.
Ball hit the heel of the glove and surrounded by Rodriguez.
Now it's Johnny Damon. If you think back to the Boston Red Sox home opener, they celebrated the Red Sox. They saluted their World Series champions. And who was the visiting team? The New York Yankees. And who got one of the loudest ovations on the day? Mariano Rivera. And he's such a classy guy, good-spirited, good-natured, tipped his cap to the crowd. He was the guy on the mound when the Red Sox made their climb back, down 3 games to nothing in last year's ALCS. And Rivera got a kick out of it. Now here he is, 1 out away from wrapping up the AL East after a long tug of war with the Boston Red Sox at the top of the division. Red Sox were up by 5.5 games in the middle of August. The two teams started the day tied at 94 and 66. By virtue of the head-to-head matchups on the year, the Yankees will win the division if they win here today. Still 1-2. Rivera had a little extra something on that. 97 miles per hour from the New York right-hander.
Johnny Damon, the type of hitter who can prolong a game with foul after foul after foul.
Here's a 1-2. Damon chops it to Rivera, waits for it, throws a fastball, and the Yankees, for the 8th season in a row, have won the AL East. Randy Johnson, the starter. Randy Johnson, today's winner. And Mariano Rivera closes it down, an 8-4 Yankee win, and they win the AL East for 2005. The Yankees using their powerful offense. Just enough pitching today from their big money left-hander and Joe Torre and his coaching staff, which has changed over the years, and celebrate another AL East title.
Now is it fun, Joe? Just for one day?
A hug for his captain Derek Jeter and Mel Stottlemyre, who had to work with that pitching staff and find somebody who could take the ball day after day and week after week. A big smile on his face. And the New York Yankees win this one, a final of 8-4. So the Yankees win the East. The Boston Red Sox will play New York tomorrow. Remains to be seen as to whether Messina will make the start. You know, Schilling will for Boston. And if Boston wins tomorrow, they win the wild card. If Boston loses tomorrow and Cleveland loses again at home to the White Sox, Boston wins the wild card. If Boston loses tomorrow and Cleveland wins at home over the White Sox, they'll have a 1-game playoff here Monday at Fenway Park.
And you might say, well, the Yankees have nothing to play for tomorrow. Well, the Chicago White Sox went into Cleveland, and people were saying the same thing. And the White Sox have beaten the Cleveland Indians 2 in a row.
Chris Myers is down near Joe Torre. Chris, it's all yours.
Thanks, Joe. Some emotional hugs there. Congratulations, 8th straight division title. Way to come back.
Can't take my glasses off, Chris. I'm crying like a baby. This was special. It really was.
Just because of the comeback, because of what you've been through, this team has been through. Gary Sheffield joining you here.
You know, people don't listen to you when you tell the guys that these guys care, you know, and it's only when you put the bottom line together that they believe you and understand what goes into winning, you know, and it's not easy to win, especially this time of year, and we had our hottest streak of the whole year.
And you had Randy Johnson give you the kind of game that really the Yankees wanted him for.
Well, you know what's important here is, you know what, it's important. I don't care how long you pitched, you still got an edge on you, and I think once he got a little tired, he started being more effective.
I want to ask you about tomorrow, but let me just ask Gary real quick. You got the home run, got things started, some good defense out there in the outfield. Physically, how you feeling? And congratulations.
I feel fine. You know, it's playoff baseball. You know, this is what it's all about. You know, I'm just thankful that I had the opportunity to go out and show what I can do and help this team win ball games.
Is it special doing it here against the Red Sox? We remember the last time you guys were here.
Absolutely. You know, Skip gave us a challenge offensively, and I took that exception to it, and I took responsibility for all the guys. I told them just ride me all the way. We're going to take it all the way. We're not looking back.
How about his defense, Chris?
Yeah, that was way to go there. You didn't look like a guy who was hurting.
Well, you know, like I said, you know, anything that's out there, I told him I'm not letting nothing drop. You know, we got to get guys in, we get them on base, and, you know, we just got to play crisp baseball.
All right, congratulations, Gary. Joe, tomorrow, does Mike Mussina go?
I'm not sure. It'd either be Mike Mussina or Jared Wright. I got to talk it over with Mel.
Will you rest some of your other regulars?
Probably.
All right, you may see this team again in the postseason.
Well, I mean, they're an outstanding team. I think that's what makes it so much more satisfying because you know they're the cream of the crop.
All right, congratulations, Joe. Thanks again. All right, appreciate it. Joe, back up. Here's a hug from Alex Rodriguez. Let's get a quick comment from A-Rod. 4 hits, including the homer. Congratulations.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you.
And after last year being here, obviously a little more settled in.
Well, you know what, Chris, I've grown a lot. You know, I'm a little emotional because it's kind of come a little bit around full circle for me. I've grown a lot as a player and as a person, and I thank the city of New York and the Pinstripes for that.
All right, and the MVP talk, you'll trade that for a ring?
Absolutely. I mean, Ortiz already has a ring, and I have an MVP, so I'll switch them, but we'll let the people that make those decisions do it.
All right, thanks a lot. Congratulations. All right, Alex Rodriguez. All right, Joe, Tim, back to you.
Great work, Chris. Glad to have you with us today. Alex Rodriguez makes his way off the field, and the Yankees will head out of this ballpark for the 8th season in a row. American League Eastern Division champions. So they are in the playoffs. Will the Red Sox join them, or will it be the Indians? Tomorrow will tell us the answer to that question. Jeannie Zelasco and Kevin Kennedy are standing by in the Fox Television Center. Wrap it up, Jeannie.
Are you kidding me? We're just getting started.
Yankees win. Yankees win.
Just getting started because the second season gets underway Tuesday on Fox, and the Yankees and the Red Sox continue to impress, but maybe even more so. If you gave up on the Yankees this year, shame on you. I mean, it was a good year to believe that because there was really no rotation. You can't even use that word. There were times when Joe Torre didn't even know who was going to be starting in 2 days.
Guys like Aaron Small and Sean Chacon, some of the pickups that Brian Cashman was able to get, guys that they took a chance on. I said, listen, we can't go out and trade the farm. We don't have much left in the farm right now to go get, you know, a guy like an A.J. Burnett or somebody like that. And Sean Chacon was an all-star in Colorado a couple of years ago, and he got out of Colorado and he showed, hey, I got great stuff. I'm going to let these guys behind me play defense, and I'm going to throw strikes, and that's what he did. Aaron Small did that, but I think this is Joe Torre's best job. And I said this 2 weeks ago, not just today, because they finally won this division. I think when you go through the problems that they've had and the expectations of the Yankees' $200+ million payroll, that's easy to say, well, you got a great lineup and all that, but you know what? It's almost more difficult when you're expected to win year after year after year, and then you have the problems you mentioned in the starting rotation. Jared Wright being out, you know, Carl Pavano, where's he at right now? Those are the guys who are supposed to carry you, along with Randy Johnson, Kevin Brown. Mike Mussina's been injured. So I think, you know, for Joe Torre, and I talked to Tommy Gordon just the other day, and he said Joe Torre has never changed his personality through all the tough times or the good times. He's always the same, and that's a sign of a good leader. Interesting,
though, because as Brian Cashman says, Sean Chacon and Aaron Small, what they brought to the club outside of the success that we saw was that fire that they brought to the club, that every day to get out on the field and win.
You make a good
point.
And
we're going to get to
they've never been through it before.
Well, we need to explain why, indeed, the Yankees did clinch the division today. It wasn't just the victory at Fenway. Another team had to pitch in and help. We're going to share more pictures from the season finale weekend of 2005 going to Cleveland.
Iguchi right here, second baseman, a 3-run home run. That puts the Sox up 4-1 in the 7th inning.
But the Indians,
Jeannie, you're right. Casey Blake double to the left. Aaron Boone would score. The Indians getting close. It goes to 4-3 into the bottom of the 9th inning. And the bullpen for the White Sox did a good job today. Cliff Politte got out an 8th inning jam, and then the White Sox, excuse me, finish it off, a pop out, and that would do it. Nice finish also. Nice finish for the Sox too, to finish strong.
7 runners stranded for the Tribe. Not going to get it done. Now they still have a bit of hope. They need a Boston loss tomorrow, forcing a 1-game playoff on Monday. And then, of course, they have to win. Okay, here's the game that you just saw.
48th home run of the year for Alex Rodriguez. 4 hits today. Back in March, I did do my preseason picks. I'm going to say, yes, I picked A-Rod to win the MVP. I still think he should be the MVP. David Ortiz, you can't take anything away from him. But
we're watching some success here, Randy Johnson.
Yeah, you know.
Got out of the gate kind of slow at 24, 25 pitches in that first inning. Some issues with the umpire, but then he dialed in.
And 7 1/3 strong innings for Randy Johnson. Mo Rivera's been absolutely phenomenal. Some people say, you know what, the MVP in the American League might be Mariano Rivera after blowing the first couple of saves of the year. He's been absolutely phenomenal. Microscopic ERA. The Yankees get it done. Best record in baseball, 84-47, since that 11-19 start.
We want to talk about the best in baseball. Jimmy Rollins' hit streak now at 0-35.
Yeah, really making a strong push since August the 23rd, hitting close to 400. Then Ryan Howard, definite Rookie of the Year candidate, maybe the leading one, doubles in the gap in left
Kenny
center.
Lofton goes home, Chase Utley, Bobby Abreu, a 3-run double. And the Phillies say, hey, wait a second, don't forget about us. They're trying to hold up their part. They just have to keep winning. And, of course, they have to hope that Houston goes down in defeat today. They have Roger Clemens on the mound.
And Roger's got the left hamstring strain, but he gets some help right away in the first inning. Craig Biggio, home run number 26. You know, they've got some veterans in this lineup like Biggio, Berkman, but really it's a bunch of young guys that have complemented the offense, but it's led by Craig Biggio, really having a super year once again. Future Hall of Famer. The Astros behind Clemens right now in the top second. 1-0 lead.
And the Cubs in a situation where they said, as Dusty Baker has said all week, you know, we're not just going to lay down here. We're putting up a fight to the finish.
Good point. You maintain the integrity of the game by putting your best guys out there when you know it matters who's going to win and who's going to lose.
All right, as we mentioned, we're just getting started here. The second season begins Tuesday on Fox. You're going to get to see some American League baseball, the divisional series, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. So you'll see the Yankees or the White Sox take on, 8 Eastern at 5 Pacific. We will see you Tuesday night on Fox.
Promotional consideration paid for by